Yo, yo, yo. What's up, everybody? Happy Tuesday, man. Happy Tuesday. Yeah, man. Hope everybody's day's going well. It's gone well. Goes well. Whatever the case may be. We will do the news, man, as always. That's what we're about to hop into right now. So we'll do March 14th edition of Video Gaming News. Then we will be hopping back into Divinity. It'll be day 2 for us of playing Divinity Original Sin with our amazing friendo and buddy and moderator here in the channel. My name is Pinky. And so Pinky will have to be getting off of work before too long, so we might have to stall a little bit, maybe dive into some Warframe for about an hour or so before we get into Divinity, but we'll do what we need to do. We'll just have to see whenever he gets home, but it shouldn't take too long. And I don't know, man. That's the Jam-a-lam. That's what we're going to do today. But we'll get a good amount of Divinity in anyways, and it'll be good. We had a great day yesterday. I posted some clips already in the Discord channel, the clips channel of our Discord server, and I was dying laughing whenever I was cutting them out yesterday. Yesterday was a fun day, man. It's always fun playing games with Pinky, man. And I'm usually, by the end of the day, man, my skull is actually hurting from laughing so much. Yesterday was definitely one of those days, so it was good stuff. If you're interested, go check out the Discord server and check out some of those clips that I threw in the clips channel from yesterday's gaming stuff that we did in Divinity. But I'm excited, man. We'll hop back in there. Let's go ahead and check out what we got going on in video gaming news for today, March 14th. Let's see what we got here. First of all, this is what we're listening to today. BPM, man, bullets per minute, amazing roguelite, first-person shooting, rhythm-based game. Very cool game, very cool art style, and very cool soundtrack too. So, not too long ago, they implemented an update that allows you to actually input your own music for use in the game, which is very cool too. So, if it sounds like your kind of game, I highly recommend checking it out. It's a lot of fun, can confirm. And soundtrack's good too, so go check it out. All right, let's go. Let's see what we got. What is this? Interesting. Epic's CEO Team Sweeney's kind of taking a shot here at Steamworks. So we'll see what's going on there. We know. So we'll talk about this more as we get into this article a little bit later. But if you are not aware, Epic just incorporated their own system for allowing developers to basically create on their or to do the same thing Steam does, right? Which is allow developers to publish directly to their platform. Yeah, and the big requirement behind Epic doing this is that if you're going to, there are a few other requirements. It costs a little bit of money. The split is much better for developers on Epic right now than it is on Steam. But the big requirement for Epic is that if you're going to publish a game on Epic, it has to be cross-platform. That's a big requirement for them. Whereas Steam doesn't have that, So there's some differences going on there. Now, Epic's kind of taking some shots here at Steam as well, so we'll see what they have to say. Jeez, dude. So Steam also broke its previous company record with almost 11,000 titles released last year. I think what they're talking about here is just the Steam platform itself, not Steam as a developer, right? Um, yeah, yeah. This is just like the number of games that are available across, or like that have become available across their platform. It's not like games that they're deving or anything. It's just the games that are available across their platform, which is it's extensive, man. There's no doubt about it. Which is, I mean, one of the reasons it is a big contributor as to why Steam is the go-to for PC gaming, and has been for such a very long time. Oh, goodness. Forspoken reportedly cost over $100 million to develop. Yikers. For a game that has not done very well, to the extent of, I mean, we've even hit on this recently in our news segments. The developer behind Forspoken, which was a subsidiary. Yeah, that's an ouch, Ferret. Yo, what's up, buddy? How are you, man? That's a lot of money for a game development project, and for it to also be as criticized and have the issues that Forspoken has had on release, and um, it's evident that Square's not happy because the subsidiary, what I can't remember the name of the dev that made this game, a subsidiary of Square. They've already been absorbed by Square. Square was like, "You guys are done." This happened within the past like week to week and a half. So we'll pull this up and we'll talk about it. We'll read about it. That's a lot of money, dude. Luminous, there you go. Thanks, Ferret. Appreciate it, dude. Ready to go back to bed? Bro, me too, dude. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Can we? That's what I need. I need a setup where I can just stream the news from my bed, right? Yeah. No, probably not. So the better option, that's exactly what I was thinking too. The better option would be getting the bed set up. Have you seen the entire like PC setup that is like built into like a bed system? And then I'll just stream from that. That's what I need to do. That way I can still just like be half asleep while I do the news, right? Yeah. Stay real cozy, dude. So it's like I get out of main bed and then I get into streamer bed, right? That's the play right there, dude. Valve's outlining their new Steam Deck gaming handheld timeline. Interesting. All right. What? Google's plan to dominate the gaming world in 2023? Stadia version 2, baby. Too soon? My bad. My bad. Oh, jeez, dude. Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom skipping major what? Gaming event. Um, hmm. Talking dominating the Android only game. Yeah, I mean, yeah, they've had a grip on that for a hot minute. Yeah, for sure. But we'll see. We'll see what they have to say. What's the Yeah, we'll check it out. We'll see what they have to say, man. Yeah. Battlefield 2042 is currently free to play on Steam. It's like, dude, it's on all the look. I think Battlefield 2042. It does sound like a little bit of like clickbait. I'll skim it. We'll see what it has to say. You know what I mean? Sometimes it's hard to tell if there's anything going to be pertinent and actually worthwhile within some of these articles, and we'll see. Sometimes it seems like there could be, and I'll skim it and be like, oh, this isn't worth, and I'll just close it. So we'll see. It quite possibly could be clickbait, dude, but that's just that's the case quite often, man. That's what happens. The Battlefield 2042, man. Oh, jeez. This game is like I'm pretty sure this game is on PS Plus and Xbox Game Pass right now. They just pushed out a new season for this game. This game was in a bad state on release, and its player base shrank down considerably very, very quickly after release because of that. I mean, it was broken, falling through the environment. I mean, there was all kinds of crazy game breaking bugs going on. To the extent, I mean, if you don't remember, there was like weird rubber ducks underneath the environment and stuff that people were falling into. Like, there was some weird crap going on in this game, dude. And I mean, I think they've got it into a decent state nowadays, but I mean, it's one of those examples of, I think it goes to show, especially in the live service space of competitive games, if your game comes out and feels like crap, you're set to really lose. It's going to be really hard to draw people back in, if your game is crap in the first place. So, Dice and EA have had a rough go of it with their latest iteration of Battlefield here, and now it's potentially free to play on Steam too, though. So if I think we'd heard a lot of news towards the end of last year that they were going to start slowing down the additional content on Battlefield 2042 because they wanted to look towards what the next iteration of this would be, And I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what's going on, and I don't know if people don't have Game Pass or PS Plus and they've been wanting to try it out. It might be the time for people to try it out on Steam. See what it's all about. Free games, man. Yo, I'm not even going to dive into this, but I've been warning people constantly since, the rise of the NFT, Web3, blockchain, crypto-based games. A lot of it's scammy, dude. A lot of it's very scummy. There have been a lot of people that have lost a lot of money on these. I don't call them games. I call them pieces of software that have been developed in a game-like manner. FBI warns that fake games are still in crypto. I mean, dude, it's a rough go of it. There are these trendy. It's not quite as prominent as it was about a year ago. The NFT, Web3, blockchain space, all that stuff. But it's still around, and people are still getting duped by it. So be careful, man. Yeah, bro. Me too. Yeah. Yeah. PS5 finally copies popular Xbox Series X feature. See what's going on there. If they're talking about the Discord stuff, we already know, but we'll see. Okay, we'll see what they're talking about. I don't think it is. We did just see where PlayStation just rolled out an update that incorporated the Discord integration, which is the same thing Xbox did a while back, which is great. I mean, these platforms, in my opinion, they should have had Discord integration a long time ago. Discord's fantastic, man. It's a great platform, especially for gamers. That's not the only usage for it. It's become like kind of synonymous with gaming, because it's such a useful tool for gamers and gaming communities, Uh, oh, yeah, I remember you talking about that, Ferret. Yeah, I remember you talking about that, dude. Um, but at least they finally got it rolled out to the console players, at least on PlayStation and Xbox, and you know, I'm sure if Nintendo does it, they'll want you to pay for it for each next console that comes out. Sorry, too soon. Um, but Discord's great. I like it very much. It's been a great tool for gamers for a long time, and it honestly, in my opinion, it's a bit late hitting these platforms for console players because it's a great utility. Classic Pokemon games going down, a bigger deal. Let's see what's going on there. Star Citizen. Yo, I have ripped on this game for quite a while. Star Citizen apologizes for super rough start to Alpha 3.18. We'll talk about Star Citizen. I stay away from a lot of Star Citizen news because I don't want to promote this title. I don't want to give this title any kind of publicity, really. It's a gross situation, in my opinion. I've talked about it from time to time. It is one of the worst modern examples of, in my opinion, people getting scammed. Oh, yeah. It was supposed to be a full release back in 2014, dog. This is insane. It has raised more money for development than any other game in history at this point. And it's like a publicly backed kind of title, dude. It's gross. It's so gross. At this point, all they have out are like modules that people can play. This is a title by Chris Roberts, dude. And it's so disgusting that like this game was supposed to be full released initially stated in 2014, and we're 9 years later, and they only have modules for people to play. And this is a really, 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 really disgusting situation as far as I'm concerned. And I'm gonna bring it up, and I'll even bring up whenever we bring up this article, I'll bring up the Wikipedia page so I can give you exact numbers on how much money has gone into this game for development, and it's gonna blow your mind. It had a lot of potential. I mean, we see that all the time, though, right? The premise around games, and it's easy for developers to go, this is what we're bringing to the table, and it can blow your mind, right? This is what we're bringing to the table. This is what we're going to give you. This is the universe, and you can tell it's a reach, but you have trust in some of these well-known developers that they know what they're doing, and they're going to really follow through with that or whatever, and just sometimes that reaches the scope of that is too much. They're going a bit too far with it or whatever, right? Wick, of course you do. You're such a troll, dude. You've never played Star Citizen once in your life, dude. Get out of here, dude. What's up, buddy? So we'll bring it up, dude. We'll talk about it. I'll bring up the Wikipedia page on it, and I'll give you guys actual stats about how much money it's raised, how long it's been in development. We're talking, look, they're even calling this Alpha 3.18. That's the current version of the game. That's what they're referring to the version of the game, Alpha. Alpha 3.18, dude, for a game that was supposed to full release in 2014. Insane. It's cold. Yeah, dude. Yeah, it's gotten a little bit chilly. Yeah, I didn't want I didn't want to get out of bed, bro. Not at all. Not at all. Uh-uh. I know what you meant, dude. Yeah, fair. Yeah. Looks like some popular Bethesda games are on sale for $5 at GameStop. Yo, I thought they were a myth at this point. Are they still? They still running, dude. Oh man, I'm actually surprised that GameStop's still a legitimate business, dude. Yeah, I know. I know they are. It's just crazy to me. Um, it wouldn't be as crazy, I think, if a lot of what I knew about GameStop didn't include the terrible ways in which employees were treated and some of the really bad things that I had learned about the company a long time ago. But I mean, it is like the last big gaming focused chain, right, for getting physical copies of games and stuff like that. Other than that, I mean, you're talking about like privately owned, like smaller companies and stuff that do this stuff, not big chains and everything anymore, because it's not there anymore. And especially the further we get ingrained into the digital space of everything and not needing physical copies. But they've had a rough go of it for sure. GameStop has. But we'll pull it up and see where people might be able to get some deals there for some Bethesda games. Soul Calibur games getting something. Let's see. Oh yeah, dude. Yeah, yeah. I love those little shops, dude. Those little shops that you know, people own, and they're not like they're not big corporate juggernaut chains. They're more like small privately owned chains or whatever. And you can tell it's just like people that really are passionate about what they what they're doing there. It's their passion and it's what they love, and that's what those shops almost always are. They're very cool. I love going into them too. Game Pass rumor claims Nintendo Switch RPG is coming soon. Okay. Hmm. I'm not going to dive into the Dead Island 2 hands-on preview. We've seen a lot of stuff already about what the game entails, and I'm just going to wait until it drops, and then we'll get some like reviews of what the game feels like for people. It looks like it could be a nice little like just game for people to dive into and be able to just go kind of nuts on tearing up some zombies and stuff. But there's, I think, reason to be hesitant with this game. This game, throughout the development process, has changed hands on developers a number of times and has had numerous delays. And that's reason enough for me to be kind of skeptical about maybe diving into this on release, especially if you're going to have to pay money for it. If you're just going to get to try it out on like a subscription service you already own or whatever, then cool. Whatever, give it a shot. But for me, I'll hold off and wait and see what reviews are of the game. I mean, hopefully it's good, but those are just some indicators for me that there's reason enough to be kind of skeptical about what's going on here. Mm. Right? Yeah. Exactly. Yeah, I have that, dude. Yep. Yep. You're right. Hmm. Yep. Yep. Well, and one of the things they so did they actually have the real discs, the discs that were supposed to go in there? Because one of the things that they'll potentially those kinds of stores will try to do too is be like, oh well, maybe maybe some people won't really understand or recognize that these are the wrong discs. You know what I mean? And they'll just put them in there or something and think people will just buy it anyways. Because that's all they had laying around. That's scummy. Yeah. Yeah. Yep. Co-op farming game with mechs has been delayed. See what that is. There's lots of news this morning, which is fine. We were gonna have to delay a little bit for Pinky today, anyways. And maybe it was an honest mistake, but I doubt it. Oh, that's quite possible as well, dude. Yeah, that's quite possible. I wasn't thinking about it like that. Yeah, yeah, that's true. Oh, yeah, dude. I still. This is gonna be crazy to see this article. Excuse me. See this article this morning. Forspoken, it really cost over 100 million to develop. Good night, dude. How insane is that though? For like a AAA game to for them to dump 100 million worth of development, resources into a game, and for it to be bad, and then you take like an indie developer that puts, you know, next to nothing compared to 100 million into a game that can absolutely just blow it out of the water. It's crazy. Tencent Games to showcase latest innovations in gaming. See what they have to say there. Bro, you're never gonna get. I'm sorry, CDPR. I have no faith in you at all for being able to get all the bugs and glitches and weirdness out of The Witcher 3, dude. I don't care. Dude, we're so many years beyond when The Witcher 3 released, and you're still trying to get this hooked up. There's no way. There's no way. I'm sorry. Roach, that mount will be forever lost to bugs. There's just absolutely no way. It's just Roach is a bug, dude. They're probably the reason, I mean, it's appropriate name for the horse, right? Because that mount is bugged, dude. Hitman 4 update shared by IO. Okay. Lightyear Frontier developer delays early access launch. RE4 remake demo cheat code unlocks secret hard difficulty. Cool. Nice. Just in the demo. That's pretty neat. Mm. What is, dude? So much stuff is. Uh, the Cycle Frontier producer says escape from Tarkov's cheating controversy is a chance to win over fans. Yeah. Oh, I don't know. That mount was so bad for me. Might be. I don't know. Yeah, it was so gross. Dude, could be. Could be. It was so bad, dude. For me, it was so bad. But I mean, what's funny is they also, I think what they're talking about there for the Witcher stuff. Did I even pull that up? I think what they're talking about is like the enhanced versions too, right? So the updates. So they came out with like the Witcher 3 enhanced versions, right? This is what kills me about CDPR. It's like, dude, I will not trust a CDPR release. There's no flipping way. After like playing The Witcher 3 and experiencing what that game feels like years later, which is still got plenty of issues. And then you know, knowing how bad Cyberpunk was on release and everything, and then then they come out with The Witcher 3 enhanced, and The Witcher 3 enhanced version, which is like the the isn't that what they called it? The enhanced version, or the version that they made for like specifically to be enhanced for the PS5 and Xbox Series X and stuff. It was a hot mess too. Like they released it and it was super busted. It's like I don't know why CDPR has such a hard time, man. Um, but I don't trust them at all. Some game devs just don't care about PC gamers. Um, I don't even know if it's as much that sentiment as it is they just don't. Yeah, I mean, I guess that is ultimately what it comes down to, but it's like, yeah, I don't know what it is either, gamer. I don't know, dude. What's up, buddy? By the way, happy Tuesday, dude. Uh, yeah, it's weird, man. That's a weird thing, and I don't understand it either. It's not. I don't think that they have this mindset that it's like PC games aren't as important necessarily or anything, but it's like they just have such a through the entire development process. That's all they focus on is the console versions, and then they it's like they have this mindset of as long as we get the console version working very well, the PC version will be fine. We'll just port it over to PC and it'll be fine. And that's not the way it works. And it seems like there's so many developers that still have that mindset to go through a development process of doing PC games that way that release on console and PC. And it's like it's just a tried and true horrible way to go about pushing out PC games. I don't know. All right, dude. All right, man. Oh, yeah. Are you actually like are you going to be able to go to work today or what, man? Yeah, dude, I'm still coughing a little bit too. It doesn't it doesn't help like whenever I'm playing games. That like yesterday, I was laughing all day long yesterday, and it kind of it put me back down a little bit with the cough. I mean, it was a great day. It was a great day. I put some of the clips in the Discord clips channel too, dude. But we had a blast playing Divinity yesterday. I was laughing all day, but dude, it wrecked my throat. Hopefully, you don't get sent home. Oh, okay, yeah. So I don't know what the answer is either, dude. But yeah, we'll take a look here and see for the people that are trying to play The Witcher 3 or have been for the updated version, the enhanced version, or whatever. See what they've got going on there. New EA game possible reveal. Is that even worth? God, we got a lot of news this morning. So we'll see what they have to say, man. We read about this the other day. That's kind of wild. Atomic Heart 2 development already being planned. That's not really worth diving into because that's just, dude. If anything, that is just initial development planning. Apparently, the game's done pretty well, so good for them. Amidst all the potential controversy there with the ties from the investors for that developer, in what we found out is the developer has an investor, a major investor that has ties to the Russian state, and there's a lot of thoughts that profits from the games that developer makes are going, being funneled back into the Russian state, which ultimately would be you know, an assist for pushing money towards Russian war efforts. Which, if that's the case, that's terrible and sucks. Um, but I don't know. I mean, I don't think the developer themselves ever, necessarily had an idea that that was what was going to happen. I mean, they were just trying to make a game. I think was what really was it came down to, and apparently people have enjoyed the title quite a bit. So I don't know. It's not necessarily all that surprising to know that they're looking at getting another iteration of it popping off. So we'll see what happens. Much love to all of our Ukrainian friendos out there, though. Heart and thoughts go out to those individuals, our Ukrainian friends that are dealing with all that strife and everything. We knew that already. Monster Hunter Rise Sunbreak console release date. No more metaverse crap. City Skylines 2 release date trailer and latest news. Dude, the amount of news we have this morning is bonkers. Will Nintendo 2 reveal the Switch 2 this year? Or will Nintendo reveal the Switch 2 this year? I doubt it. Maybe. If they do, it'll probably be later this year. I really don't think that they're going to release the next version or their next console version until next year, probably within the next year to year and a half. That's my guess, anyways. So, yeah, I mean, could they announce it this year? Maybe. We could be surprised for sure. But in my opinion, they're already late with it. It should have been out already. So we'll see. We got enough news here, though. Let's pop it. Dude, we got a lot of news. A bit scared of the Switch 2. I think a lot of people are. I think, and a big part of it is because of what I talk about all the time. First and foremost, it's like, oh, here we go, another online Nintendo platform that we're gonna have to move over to. Which Nintendo. It appears that Nintendo's trying to avoid that this time. But that's where everybody's like having nightmares about it right now. I don't know what Nintendo's deal is. I have no idea why Nintendo is being so terribly bad about not just making, like, why is it referred to as Nintendo Switch Online? It should have been Nintendo Online should have been made a long time ago. You shouldn't have to move a console from online platform to online platform to online platform with each next iteration of a console. That's so stupid. So they like have to keep shutting down eShops, you know what I mean? Because they're like, oh, well, we don't want to support it anymore. Dude, that's asinine. What they need to be doing is just have one flippin' one platform for their entire online presence. You know what I mean? And as things move forward, the next iteration of console becomes the main, reason why people use that online platform. It's Nintendo Online, dude. That's what it is. Take the Switch part out of it. That way, people that are still utilizing consoles like the Wii U or whatever, they can get what they need to off of that platform as well. It's got their different, you would think so, dude. Yeah, I mean, I don't understand. I don't. That's why I don't grasp it, man. With everything that I know about the IT world and the way things go, it seems very unintuitive, not just from a user end perspective, but from the development standpoint of things too. It seems real unintuitive, dude. And you're right. Yeah, more expensive and resource heavy, and to exactly have to redevelop a new iteration of something like this every single time. Not only that, but God, it is nightmare fuel for every single player for Nintendo, every Nintendo gamer, every single time this happens. Everybody's freaking out right now. They're like, please, Nintendo, don't do this to us again. It's like, I don't know, man. It's so scary, dude. Yeah, that's the way everybody feels about it right now. So everybody's scared. I don't know. I mean, we've seen stuff already where Nintendo's trying to be like, oh, well, that's not going to happen this time. We'll see. I don't know. I don't really trust Nintendo that much. But they've got to get away from that model. I don't know what has gotten them into this mindset where that's I can understand maybe, it being a more difficult thing to incorporate a single platform where it just rolls over and stuff, 15 to 20 years ago or whatever. Fool me once, can't get fooled again. Wasn't that George Bush? I know what you're saying. The actual saying, you know. Yeah, so my Switch not scared. There you go. I mean, a lot of people love Nintendo games, though. I mean, that's the thing we talk about all the time, right? I mean, the thing that sucks is like gaming. Gaming is a thing that should be focused on. It should allow us to really just focus on having fun. And unfortunately, there's so much of this crap on the back end from developers that we have to worry about all the time that takes a lot of our focus away from the fun and makes us worry about things instead. It's terrible. But yeah, I don't know. Fool me once, shame on you, right? Fool me twice, shame on me. Yeah, that's kind of like that's my thought process. Like every time I think about whenever I play a game on release that feels bad, whether it be like right now my stance on From Software games, which is really hurting me because of the whole Armored Core game coming out. I really want to play that on release, but dude, I won't play. I don't think I'll be able to play it on release. From Software games on release on PC are balls, dude. And as much as I want to play Armored Core, I don't trust them to release a game, and I don't want to get fooled by From Software again. Same thing with like another Avalanche game. Playing Hogwarts Legacy on release, they fooled me once, dude. I don't want to get fooled again. Don't need to worry about Luminous, right? Yeah. Well, I was already sketched out about that game on release. That's why I didn't play that one on release. And my feelings there, my gut feelings there, came true. So I mean, unfortunately, yeah. Look, I don't ever wish ill on like a game, but we talk about it a lot. We because we do the news every day and we see all these indicators, right, for certain titles, and it doesn't always hold true. There are games that sometimes seem like they might have some issues when they come out, right? Atomic Heart was one that I was worried about. One of the more recent ones was Atomic Heart that I had some worries about. There had been numerous delays for that game and things of that nature, and I was like, yeah, it might be worth holding on and waiting. And apparently the game was pretty solid. Not necessarily like mind blowing or anything, but performed well on all platforms and was a entertaining experience. And so the indicators which usually hold true, that's not always going to be the case, but I always want a game to be fun. It just unfortunately isn't always the case. Yeah. Monster Hunter Rise Sunbreak console release date. Wick, yo, my little troll lord. Release date for Monster Hunter Rise Sunbreak will be April 28th. Monster Hunter Rise Sunbreak, April 28th, 2023. Available on PS4, PS5, Xbox One, and Series X and S, and Windows via the Xbox Store and Game Pass. Players will, however, have their own base game, have to own the base game Monster Hunter Rise to play the expansion. Base game is also available on Xbox Series XS, Xbox One, Windows Game Pass, and PS4 and PS5. Players will get 2 bonus add-on content when buying the expansion, namely the Loyal Dog costume, Palamute layered armor, as well as the Striped Cat costume, Palico layered armor. Additionally, players who order the deluxe edition of Sunreek will receive the following as well: Dragon's Bane Hunter layered armor, Sea Hound Palamute layered armor, F Devout Palico layered armor, Take Aim Gesture set. Sunbreak brings hunters to the land of Elgato, which is being threatened by 3 monsters known as the 3 Lords. The hunter must help in defeating these monsters, as their presence is a danger not only to Elgato, but to Kamura as well. To aid in defeating these monsters, the hunter receives various new skills for each of the game's 14 weapon types. This includes the new wire bug abilities as well as other tricks. Not only that, but Sunbreak introduces the follower system, lets players take along NPC characters to their hunts, allowing them to help in taking down monsters. Each of the followers has their own specialty weapons and will use them when out hunting with a player. Change your follower to match your mission or stick to bringing your favorite NPC. The choice is up to you. Followers will be especially helpful in taking down the new monsters that roam the land of Elgato, from well-known and loved classic monsters like Daimyo Himitor, the vampiric elder dragon Malzeno. The player will have to use everything at their disposal, including the armor and weapons from these new foes, to take down the three lords. That's everything we have right now. Cool. So, April 28th for Monster Hunter Rise Sunbreak DLC. It is wise. It is. I mean, that's one of the reasons I try to, prompt people to be cautious for certain titles, because people have been duped too many times, and a lot of people are I, myself included. I mean, there's an amount of being just jaded by these situations, these scenarios we found ourselves in of getting hyped up around titles and being let down, severely let down quite often. And it makes you feel scammed, It makes you feel scammed. So, I mean, a big reason in which I try to look for those indicators in the development process of games that could, be worth prompting people to maybe take a beat and look for some reviews before they decide to throw their money at a game is for two reasons. One is to save people some grief, save people some grief, not have them get back into another situation where they felt scammazed by a developer. And another is to maybe, prevent developers from gaining as much money as they potentially would in the event that their title isn't what it should be. Because quite often these indicators, dude, they're pretty good at letting us know that a title might not be exactly what a game should be on release, right? And to be fair, developers don't deserve our money, dude, if they're not bringing a quality product to the table. That's all there is to it. And again, for myself, dude, I don't expect a game to be flawless, but I expect quality, that's for sure. City Skylines 2 release date, trailer, and latest news. So we saw the original, like the announcement trailer for this we saw during the Nacon stuff, right? Paradox showcase. We watched those on the same day. At long last, we have a sequel to the fantastic City Skylines, and better yet, the City Skylines 2 release date is scheduled for 2023. Paradox Interactive is bringing the detailed city building sim back in what is promised to be, quote, the most realistic city builder ever. The development team is promising plenty in its city building sequel. It said that you will be able to create and manage your own city without any restrictions. This is a big deal, as it sounds as though it will be entirely open and limited only by your imagination. With the game heading to consoles and PC at launch too, no one will miss out on the expansive and demanding city sim. Let's see what this is or not. Yeah, okay, just don't play, okay? Excited? When is the City Skylines 2 release date? Sometime this year. So we'll see if that actually happens. There's, I think, reason enough to, anytime a game is like, it'll be this year, and you're already in that year, and a quarter of that year is over, there's potential for this to slip to next year also. It doesn't mean it won't come out this year, but there's potential too. So anybody that's like, really, really psyched about this game, just be aware that there's always the potential for games to slip, and especially when something like this pops off, and And there's already it's like the initial announcement. They're like, oh well, there's a it's going to be sometime this year, and there's already a quarter of the year gone. I mean, it doesn't mean it won't come out, but it could slip till next year too, if need be. Which is, developers should we would rather have a polished game come out than something that's not ready, right? So if that ends up being the case. Which consoles and platforms can play City Skylines 2? It is going to release on PC via Steam, Xbox Series X and S, and PS5. No sign of the game on PS4, Xbox One, or Switch. Again, we're starting to see a heavier push towards developers not releasing games on previous gen consoles anymore. It's the cyclical way of things in the rotation of the lifespan of consoles. It's the way it works. And we're at that point right now where developers are starting to not care about developing games for the previous gen consoles anymore, really. This is the announcement trailer. I'll show you guys real quick. We'd already seen it previously, but if anybody else hadn't seen it, it's all cinematic from what I can tell. There are a lot of people that love City Skylines, so.
Yet evolve into something new.
Yeah, they said not actual gameplay at the bottom. Which it didn't appear to be anyways, but.
This city has a story.
Yeah.
Envision a world created by you. Your chance to shape the future. To create and inspire.
We took a quick dive into just, it wasn't extensive or anything. We probably played about 5-6 days or something of City Skylines earlier, like within the past year. It was cool, man. It was cool. Wick kept polluting my cities. Troll pollution.
Here, you are the visionary. You are the creator. You make cities.
So yeah, you can go wishlist it on Steam. Yeah, so yeah. It's like SimCity. Yeah. Whoa! Yeah, dude. Yeah, it's like SimCity. Yeah. Like modern SimCity, dude, is what it is. Yeah. Yep. Smash his wishlist button. Yeah, City Skylines 2, dude. So, again, like City Skylines 1, the base game is quite often really cheap, and but there's a ton of DLC for that game too, man. I mean, it is insane how much DLC there is for that game. But yeah, I mean, I think like modern, very fleshed out, very deep version of like SimCity, I was wondering, dude. It's like just so much hype. You were raging, dude. Let's see, check it out. So for City Skylines, bro, you give me the base game, dude. No, what? How is this not giving? Yeah, there. This is the base game. So, Um, you can see. I mean, a lot of people play this game. Do play this game. 93% positive of over 166,000 reviews. I mean, excuse me. You can see all the DLC. Look at all the DLC for this game. This is where their bread and butter lies. You know what I mean? This is one of the things that's always been kind of a turn off for me about this game. Like they've got like the bundles, you know, that you can buy. Look at this bundle, dude. $226. City Skylines collection. $226, dog. Like, good night. So I don't know. I guess it depends on how invested you are in this title, but yeah, I mean, you can see, dude, it's a pretty cool little city sim, and I don't know, it's definitely worth like the base game itself is got a lot of content in it. It seems I had a good time playing it for a few days and like a handful of days. So it goes on sale quite often for real cheap, and if it looks interesting to you, then I'd say it's definitely worth checking out. If you like the city simulator, building simulator kind of games and stuff like that, for sure. And I know there's going to be a lot of people psyched about City Skylines too. Oh, Geralt. The Witcher 3 update boosts PS5, Xbox Series X performance and fixes bugs. The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt officially made its way to PS5 and Xbox Series X and S in December of last year, alongside an upgraded PC version. So that's what it was. Yeah, it was an upgraded PC version to go alongside the version that came out for PS5 and the modern console version. And CD Projekt Red has steadily been patching it since because they release buggy messes. In this new 4.02 update fixes a ton of bugs and even addresses issues introduced in the game's previous patch. As shown in the detailed list provided by CDPR, the game reportedly now runs a little more smoothly on Series X and PS5 in performance mode. 4.01 update did improve the game's performance in its quality mode, but it somehow also slashed the frame rate in its performance mode. Tests performed by Digital Foundry demonstrated how it ran at a lower frame rate with the 4.01 update installed when compared to previous versions. Bro, I don't understand what CDPR's issue is, dude. PC and current gen consoles also now have a motion blur slider, better water reflections, also a few console-specific changes, like how the PS5 version won't delete the oldest save when rewriting a manual save, how Xbox One users will be able to more smoothly load cross-console saves, many other fixes as noted by the full update patch notes below. PC-specific. Console-specific. Visual, PC and next-gen exclusive. Quests and gameplay. Localization. There's Pat. I'm not gonna read all these, dude. It's not worth to me, but I will link it. So if you guys are interested in taking a look, I mean, I just CDPR. I know a lot of people love CDPR, but I don't I don't I don't understand it. There's a lot of great content that they put into these games. They're also a mess quite often, and I just don't understand where people are able to overlook what a hot mess they are all the time just because they do some other things good too. I can't do it, dude. There are too many like glaringly terrible performance issues and bugs and stuff for me to just be like, "Oh, well, it's okay because the story's dope," you know? And the stories are good. But if the game plays like trash, I'm sorry. It's a no for me, dude. I don't understand. And CDPR seems bad about it nowadays, man. It's like, whatever, man. Just push it out. It's fine. We'll just patch it after the fact. It's cool. They'll buy it because it's us. It says CDPR on it, dude. They'll buy it. Which we've seen from so many big developers nowadays. You know what I mean? Speaking of one of those, New EA game possible reveal. Data miners are the ones that always make our day, whether that is by finding out new content or the best of it all, stumbling upon text saying that a new game is on the horizon. EA is known as the one that keeps everything secret, but nothing can be hidden from data miners. Trustworthy data miner going by the name Aguri Lumia has stated that they have seen a new EA title submitted to the Xbox Store. Codenamed Lorem Ipsum 70, Racing and Flying category. Now that listing text says the game could possibly be a new racing game, especially since the game is marked under the racing category of racing and flying. Definitely is not an F1 game, however. Take everything with a grain of salt, especially the information. Yeah, so okay, there's no telling what this is, but I'm sure we'll find out soon enough. Losing more than we realize when these classic Pokemon games get pulled. Yep, this is because of the 3DS store going down. Again, back to the Nintendo controversy, right? Of them just being so terrible about their eShops and not having everything on the same platform. Nintendo's bad about this stuff. I mean, they're terrible. Terrible. And I don't understand why they can't just convert everything over to the same platform. Like, yo, here is our one-stop shop, one-stop eShop. You want one of our 3DS games? Go look at the 3DS category of our eShop. You want a Wii U game? Yo, go take a look at the Wii U category of our eShop. You know? You want a game for our most modern console, which right now would be the Switch? Boom. Go look at that category of our eShop. Instead, they just come out with a new platform every single time they come out with a new console, and then they end up doing what they're doing right now, which is closing down the older eShops, what makes it to where, oh, it is pure business. Yeah, it is. Oh, yeah. Dude, yeah. They need somebody to cleanse their soul and pop their head out of their butt at the same time. You know what I'm saying? No doubt. Nintendo's terrible, dude. I talk about it all the time. Yeah. I mean, they do this stuff on purpose. Yeah. But it's, I mean, some of it doesn't make sense though. You know what I mean? Like, how does it make sense for them to not continue to make money on potential digital purchases and stuff? Like, just shut down an eShop all the way to get, there are plenty of people that still love playing their like DSs and stuff like that, but they're just going to completely shut down the shop. I mean, I guess where they see it is like it's not worth maintaining that side of things if there's not enough people buying stuff. But that also comes into play with Nintendo being terrible about preserving the history of their games and allowing people to play, and then going, we're not going to give you access to those games, but don't you flippin' dare emulate it either. Don't you dare. We're not going to give you access, but don't you dare go and try to play one of our games that we won't give you access to. Nintendo absolutely has their head in their ass. Yeah. They're terrible. And yes, they do a lot of this based on greed. Like I've said a lot of this here lately. The reason why, let's be very clear here. The Switch is old, right? The Switch is very old. And I've talked about this a lot. There are going to be a lot of people that are absolutely fine with Tears of the Kingdom because it's going to be very similar to Breath of the Wild, right? But it's not going to be any more groundbreaking, I don't think, than Breath of the Wild really was. There'll be some stuff in the game that is different, but it's not going to be, a whole lot of a different game than Breath of the Wild was because, let's be honest, that hardware is not going to be able to be pushed very much further than what it was for Breath of the Wild, right? So if they wanted to do anything more grandiose with Tears of the Kingdom, it would have needed to have been done on their next platform. But that doesn't make sense for them being greed monsters because what they wanted to do was release it now on the Switch, make everybody pay $100 for the base game, and then DLC and amiibos or whatever, you know, on the Switch, then release the new gen console, port Tears of the Kingdom over to the new console, then make everybody pay that same amount of money again to play Tears of the Kingdom on their new console too, because they are also terrible at backwards compatibility, right? So yeah, a lot of it is a business decision based on Nintendo being greedy buttholes, dude. You know, it's terrible, but it's and look, if they weren't making money this way, if people weren't buying into these mechanics, I think a lot of people don't look at it that way. That's why I keep talking about it, because I want more and more people to see what I'm talking about. I think a lot of people are don't understand what's going on here, right? And so I think the more that I can talk about it and bring awareness to what a lot of these console makers are doing and like what Nintendo's doing, hopefully it'll open some people's eyes about what's going on in some areas of the gaming industry, and prompt people to be a little bit more action based about, you know, what's going on here, you know. Maybe not, but hopefully, because this is gross, dude. It feels disgusting to me. I hate it. This is one of the reasons that I've really significantly pulled away from the console side of gaming, because I hate it. It feels really gross to me. And yeah, exactly. I mean, look, people are going to do what people want to do. Exactly, Ferret. Yeah. And I think that's the main thing is like, for me, as long as I can get that information out there and help people understand that, like, this is what's happening and it's being done on purpose, then at least they have the information to make their own decision rather than just like not be aware of what's happening. Yeah. So yeah, that's really what my hope is here. Will it necessarily make a difference? Maybe not, but I can always hope, right? So, bro, we all know that you can't force people to think. Good night. Yeah, I mean, I think, you know, we see that on a daily basis, don't we? Here in the world, the inability for people to think critically about things and think, you know, on their toes is ooh, that's a rare thing nowadays. It seems like, goodness gracious. But you know, if I can raise some awareness and open some people's eyes about what it absolutely appears like is going on in the industry, so that people can make a more, you know, educated decision on how they want to approach things, based on the information that I'm seeing, I think that's what's important to me. Yeah, yeah, you're not wrong. But some of that entertainment is bad entertainment too, in my opinion. Sometimes it can be funny, but sometimes it can be very gross as well, and is terrible. So I don't know. Yeah. Some of those people need to be like just put into a flipping like a human zoo or something. It's gross. You know the kind of people I'm talking about. I wouldn't want to pay to see. I didn't say anything about having to pay to see it. Well, a non-public human zoo. Welcome to let's see this. It, that's not what I said. But yeah, maybe. I figured you probably say that. Yeah, yeah. I mean, it does seem that way, doesn't it? Like with some of the things that some of those people get up to. I mean, I've seen some videos where I'm like, that person belongs in jail, dude. You know, I've seen some videos of some people that the things that the way they've conducted themselves, the way they've acted towards other human beings, and to be honest, the composure with which I've seen some people handle themselves in the face of some of these, well, just call them Karens, right? Or whatever. Dude, they've handled themselves much better than I would have. I'll tell you that. I don't have the patience for those kinds of people. I don't, and not at all. And so I'm really really surprised quite often at the composure that some people have in the face of being just so degraded and put down and by some of these just uncivilized, horrible, horrible human beings. And when I see some of the actions that they, quote unquote Karens get themselves up to or whatever, and I'm not gender basing this or whatever. That's what a term that is used for people that conduct themselves very poorly and lose their minds about certain weird things or whatever. Uh, yeah, quite often the way I see them conduct themselves, it's like, yo, these people belong in jail or something. It's gross. Canceled. There you go, Ghost. What's up, dude? What's up, buddy? What's up, man? Yeah, look, dude. I said it. I don't care. Whatever. I mean, it is what it is. You guys know how I'm feeling. I mean, this place is the place about being civil and respecting each other's differences and being welcoming and dude, I don't care if it's about you know as long as people are good people, allowing people to live their best life, as long as people are not like pushing bad beliefs or violent beliefs or whatever on other people, you're just living your best life and you're trying to be a better person from one day to the next. I think that's what life's supposed to be about, being good, understanding, compassionate human beings, dude. And there's just so much of it out there that it's like people are just so hate filled, man, so full of hate and the unwillingness to accept the fact that we should like cherish each other's uniqueness instead of hating each other for it. It's so gross, man. I don't understand it. Ghost, what's up, buddy? How you doing today? We're losing more than we realize when these classic Pokemon games get pulled. So, yeah, Pokemon has always been synonymous with Nintendo handhelds, and the 3DS has been the last bastion of preserving its past. Welcome to Experience Share, Kotaku's Pokemon column, in which we dive deep to explore notable characters. Yeah, buddy, it's good to see you, dude. Urban legends, communities, and just plain weird quirks from throughout the Pokemon franchise. This week, we're taking a look at the upcoming 3DS and Wii U eShop shutdowns and the effect they will have on the series. The 3DS and Wii U eShops are 2 weeks away from shutting down on March 27th, taking digital access to the system's library with them in the process. From a preservation standpoint, this is already a travesty. But for the Pokemon series, this is going to have a particularly devastating effect on the access and functionality of the entire series. Keep in mind, before we were playing games like Pokemon Scarlet and Violet or Sword and Shield on the Switch, Pokemon was primarily a handheld series. Yes, sure, the series had some console spin-offs like Pokemon Stadium and Snap, but by and large, these pocket monsters have always been able to fit well into your pocket. Now, the 3DS's digital storefront is shutting down, and it's taking away a sizable chunk of the currently available Pokemon games. As it turns out, Nintendo's lack of care for preserving its games has already done a number on the franchise before this. Phil Salvador, the library director at the Video Game History Foundation, laid it all out plainly and in a graphic on Twitter. The chart illustrates that by the time the 3DS and Wii U shut down later this month, only about 26% of the Pokemon video games released in America will be readily available to purchase. That's crazy. Even before the 3DS and Wii U eShops go away, swaths of Pokemon history are already difficult to legally access. A whopping 41% of Pokemon games are already available through physical copies only. As Nintendo has yet to add games for the Game Boy Advance or original DS RPGs on any digital storefront. This ranges from mainline games like Ruby and Sapphire to spin-offs like the strategy RPG Pokemon Conquest. With the eShop shut down, 3DS games like Sun and Moon will only be available through physical copies, which will inevitably become expensive collector's items that get sold for obscene amounts on places like eBay. On top of losing native 3DS games, the Pokemon Company ported the first 2 generations of Pokemon games to the system through the Virtual Console, which was a rare example of Nintendo trying to keep old games accessible by legitimate means. These titles were also compatible with Pokemon Bank, which meant players could transfer their Pokemon from these games to modern entries. Now, there will be no way to play the original Pokemon Red, Blue, and Yellow through Nintendo's storefronts, and physical cartridges of these games have long succumbed to the dying internal batteries, making some features like Gold and Silver's Day and Night Cycle obsolete, or in worst cases, making it impossible to save your progress. Now, if you know what you're doing, there are ways to replace these batteries. But not everybody is super tech savvy, right? So that's not wrong. Yo, by the way, not too long ago, we saw an article of an original unopened, at the time it was unopened, Pokemon Yellow. 9.2 rated WADA. Pokemon Yellow. Be afraid on how to replace those. Yeah, it can be done. Yeah. I've never done it. But I'm sure there are places that can do it. I'm sure that there are some guides out there if you're savvy enough with tech stuff, and I'm guessing they're probably. I don't know about the old like Game Boy games. Are they soldered in? Are they soldered in there? Yeah, they're probably soldered, right? Yeah, that's what I'm guessing. Yeah. So, I mean, if you've got soldering skills, then and it wouldn't be. Yeah, that's what I was guessing too. Ferret. If you've got soldering skills, it's not going to be a huge deal. And but there are people and companies out there that are pretty good at doing this kind of stuff nowadays. Especially these. We were talking about it earlier. There's some really nice shops out there nowadays, like privately owned. I'm not talking about like GameStop and stuff, but there are some privately owned gaming related tech shops and stuff like that are very, very, very good about refurbishing a lot of older gaming hardware and cartridges and stuff like that, cleaning them up, making them work again. And they're really good at doing stuff like that. So quite often you can contact these places, these local places that you can find, and for a price, they will go in and they can get that stuff fixed up for you. It's something to look into, anyways. But yeah, so recently we saw where somebody was traveling. They were bringing into the U.S. a 9.2 A+ rated Pokemon Yellow. It was still in the plastic wrap. The box was unopened in the plastic wrap and everything. U.S. Customs it was in a hard plastic cover and everything with the water rating on it and stuff. They busted that open, took a box cutter and cut the front of the Pokemon box open. Ruined it. We're talking about a $10,000. This thing was worth like $10,000, and they absolutely destroyed it. And to me, it's not really the money thing, as much as the just the vintage gamer in me died a little bit when I saw that. It absolutely just like crushed my heart, dude. Like it hurt me so much inside to see that. So still have original copies of Yellow and Silver, and after more than 20 years, the innards of the cartridge won't work on my Game Boy Advance SP. While getting physical copies of the games can be a hassle, hardware like the Analog Pocket. Yo, I'll bring this up. I've promoted the Analog Pocket quite often. It does make playing them relatively simple, despite Nintendo completely moving away from native backward compatibility. This is assuming the old cartridges you find are still usable. Yes. Further, the 3DS eShop, it has acted as a bridge between the series' past and present, because the system is the only way to transfer old Pokemon from old games to modern ones. Since Diamond and Pearl, the Pokemon series has allowed you to transfer your monsters from old games to new ones. That has become more complicated since Sword and Shield did away with all the encompassing national Pokedex. But the act of trading old Pokemon and carrying them with you to future games has been a special part of the series for many fans. When the 3DS eShop shuts down, it will take Pokemon Bank and Transporter, two apps exclusive to the system, with it. These apps were used to store and transfer old Pokemon and are compatible with Pokemon Home. The series' modern console-agnostic storage app. Those who have the apps in their digital collection will still be able to download them to their 3DS, but they will be unavailable to anyone who comes into the series after March 27th. God, that sucks. The call to pull the plug on old digital storefronts is out of the Pokemon Company's hands, but for a series that is as fixated on the decades-long experience of its fan base as Pokemon, it's baffling to look at the numbers and realize nearly 3/4 of its video game history is about to be completely inaccessible through legitimate means. Right now, the only reason a few of the non-Switch games are available is because Nintendo has put a handful of them on the Switch Online service. Just turn it into Nintendo Online, dude. It's a start, but even those are spin-offs like Pokemon Snap and Pokemon Puzzle League. This is... God, I hate it when websites do this. This is the state of preservation for Nintendo. The company spends years building up a digital library because it doesn't invest in backwards compatibility at all. Then runs a wrecking ball through it years later. Pokemon is not the only series suffering from this callous call, but when a series has been so tied to Nintendo's handheld history, shutting down the last bastion to preserve it leaves us with nothing but unsalvageable wreckage that we can only pick up in online wikis and YouTube video essays. What a shame. Great article, dude. Who wrote this? Kenneth Shepard, thank you. Great article, Kenneth. Yo, what's the frequency, Kenneth? Sorry. Bro, I loved me some REM back in the day. Yo, great article, Kenneth Shepard. Fantastic, dude. If you guys don't know anything out of there. Yo, I never heard anything else about that, dude. Oh my god, dude. Yeah, from a collector's standpoint, it was terrible, you know. That hurt. It was a brutal one. And yeah, I never saw anything else about it, you know. I'm sure that for the US Customs and that agent that did it, they went, "Oh, well, we saw something on an x-ray that meant we had to take a look inside, and that gave us reason to go ahead and do what we did, and therefore you cannot enact any kind of case against us for it or whatever." But a good lawyer would probably find a way to do something. It just depends on what that specific individual that had that copy is looking to do and go for. So I don't know. And it depends. There's a lot of stuff we probably don't know about that situation too. Like, but God, it hurt reading that. It hurt seeing it too, dude. They had images of it. There were images of that Pokemon Yellow. Oh God, there's a clip on the channel. There's a highlight on the Twitch channel, man. I don't think I have it public on the YouTube yet, but there's a highlight of it somewhere on the our Twitch channel here, man, and of me showing it off. It was gross. It was gross. No, yeah, I don't want to either. It gives me the shivers, dude. I don't like thinking about it. Oh man. Star Citizen. Oh God, dude. Here we go, man. Star Citizen apologizes for super rough start to Alpha. Sad and furious. Yeah. Lots of emotions, dude. No doubt. Rough start to Alpha. This game was supposed to full release in 2014. Alpha 3.18. The game has suffered from server outages and login issues since its latest update. Oh, God, dude. Okay, I'm going to bring up the Wikipedia page after we read this article. I'm going to show you guys what infuriates me so much about this title, okay? Star Citizen developer Cloud Imperium Games has apologized for a super rough start to its Alpha 3.18 update, with the sci-fi game currently experiencing server outages and error messages. The Alpha 3.18 Lasting Legacies update was launched on Friday, March 10th, and introduced salvaging, new vehicles, more locations, and extra missions to complete. However, Friday's update has also caused a number of issues for players, with Star Citizen servers suffering from outages and downtime. As of today, March 14th, Star Citizen server status page warns of partial outages and issues with players trying to log in. With many players left unable to properly play the latest update, Cloud Imperium Games has said that it is, quote, sorry for the super rough start, and explained that the studio has all hands on deck trying to fix the issues. In a longer blog post published yesterday, March 13th, Cloud Imperium Games explained that Alpha 3.18's persistent entity streaming feature required a live release to, quote, continue testing at a scale only possible in the live environment. Since releasing, hundreds of thousands of you have turned up to check out the latest update, said the studio. However, we understand that many of you are currently encountering issues preventing you from logging in, and for those who are able to get in, you may be experiencing a less than ideal gameplay experience. First, we would like to apologize for the turbulence and frustration that many of you have experienced since release, Cloud Imperium continued. While we anticipate that there might be some initial hiccups with the launch and tried to set expectations accordingly, it is still unacceptable to us that so many of you have been unable to enjoy 3.18 properly. The developer added that it has seen improvements in many areas but remains working on remaining issues within the game. I'm just going to link this real quick, and I'm going to pull this game up, and I'm going to show you guys the grotesqueness that is Star Citizen. I've pulled it up before. This is what this game is, which in my eyes is basically a big scamaz. So Chris Roberts is the lead director for this, right? And Chris Roberts, why am I blanking? The title he got so famous for. Jesus. Wing Commander. There you go. Thank you, dude. Thank you. Yeah. So that's where Chris Roberts got so famous, was off of Wing Commander, right? And this was Chris Roberts, vision of the next big thing coming from him and for gamers that were fans of Wing Commander, right? And so as you can see, this is an in-development multiplayer space trading and combat simulation game, yeah? Led by Chris Roberts. This game was announced via a private crowdfunding page in September of 2012. Yeah? Later joined on October 18th of 2012 by a successful Kickstarter campaign which drew over $2 million. Oh, okay. Pre-production of the game began in 2010, with production starting in 2011. Star Citizen is highly criticized, has become highly criticized during its long production process, both for the fact that there's still no clear release date and for the challenges backers who have abandoned the project have faced in receiving a refund. The launch of the game was originally anticipated for 2014, 9 years ago, but was repeatedly delayed. In 2013, Cloud Imperium Games began releasing parts of the game known as modules, which is still, from what I understand, still what this game integrates as the playable aspects of the game. It is not still a fully released state. This game is still just popping off modules that you can check out and play into to provide players with the opportunity to experience gameplay features prior to release. Random mode time. Let's go. No projected date for the commercial release of Star Citizen is currently given, right? After the initial Kickstarter... Nice, dude, you got Kappa! Sick. After the initial Kickstarter ended, Cloud Imperium Games continued to raise funds through the sale of ships and other in-game content. So they would have these like all these different kinds of, it's like, okay, support the game, right? By buying these backer ships, and it was like this will be the ship that you get to use in the game and stuff like that, right? And one of the so it is now noted for being the highest funded crowd-funded video game and one of the highest funded crowd-funded projects overall, having raised over $500 million as of September of last year. We're about to read an article that was talking about how much money was put into, a AAA production of a game like Forspoken, right? And we were like, God, that's a lot of money. As of a half a year ago, this game had raised over 500 million, over $500 million, and it's not in full release. Such methods of generating crowdfunding revenue have, however, led to criticisms and legal issues surrounding the project. In addition to crowdfunding, marketing is also funded through external investments, having received over $60 million as of March of 2020. So that's going to be an even higher number now too, right? It's kind of disgusting. And I can understand that, like, there's the potential for developers to get themselves into a bad situation with overreach. I think, it's like they have these amazing visions of what they want games to be. They want people to experience, and I understand that. And us as gamers, we want those universes. We want big, fleshed out, very fun experiences. But developers need to be careful too, right? And I mean, you see games, we talk about this as well. You see a platform like Steam, right, where they allow early access games to continue development while the game is being created. And we've seen that be very, very good for certain games. Like take Path of Exile, for example. Path of Exile was a game that was early access and has become a just beloved game, and it's very, very well developed. And on a free to play platform as well. It's a free to play game that has been very, very profitable. And then you take a look at maybe a game like this where it was like, I don't understand. And there are other games as well on Steam where it's been like, early access, but they've been in early access for like 8 or 9 years, and it's like, when does it stop, right? There's got to be, some point of giving people an entire base game. And then whatever, man, you want to keep making content, cool, but this is absolutely insane. This game's initial release was anticipated for 2014. I can understand a bit of a delay or something, I think we all get that. A bit of a delay. But it's 9 years later. And this game's not full released yet. And you're talking about a project that has raised well over $500 million. That is disgusting. That's disgusting. How is that a thing? And obviously there are a lot of people that are and I don't even play it. I don't even want to play it because of how gross this seems from the outside looking in. And there are obviously a lot of other people that have bought into this at some point, some form or fashion through the development process that are like, oh, this was not the way this was supposed to go. And they've been trying to get refunds because they were like, this was, this was not supposed to be the way this was supposed to go, So I don't know. I just over $500 million. Jesus, it's pretty disgusting, man. Popular Bethesda, and look, I mean, so let me, before I move on, also, as far as like the playable aspects of that game go, dude, I haven't played the game. So I can't speak from experience. And there is the potential that I need to have some individuals that have had some dives into this title enlighten me to an extent about what the current playable experience is of this game. Yeah? But from the outside looking in and all the information I've had about Star Citizen, and dude, I've been following Star Citizen for a very long time. I've never played it, but everything that I've found about the game seems very scummy. And to have a budget of that much money and to have the game still in a state that is not like a full released game. They're talking, they refer to these releases as alpha releases of the game. You know, when the game was originally slated as something that was supposed to be pushed out as a full release in 2014, 9 years later, and over $500 million, something's wrong, dude. So that's not right. That's not the way things are supposed to go. And there's a reason why there's so many people that are, disgruntled about the way this has gone. That were, initial backers of the title as well. It seems, but I mean, I would love to have some people give me their input on what they have experienced in game for the title throughout its development process and where it currently stands. Because I don't have experience with that, so I would love to have some people, if they have that experience, bring that to me. Popular Bethesda games on sale for $5 at GameStop. Yeah, no doubt, dude. Yeah, no doubt. I agree. I mean, that's the nature of games, especially live service games, right? There's always something new being found, exploits, bugs, things like that. So that kind of is what it is. But yeah, you're not wrong. A few different popular Bethesda games on sale at GameStop for $5. Yeah, dude. Yeah. The catch, as it always is with GameStop, these deals are for pre-owned versions. Okay. The following: 2019's Rage 2, 2016's Doom Reboot, and 2014's The Evil Within. Oh, The Evil Within is so good. The Evil Within is actually a Bethesda published game. This is a game that was developed by Tango, which is more recently known for their hit of Hi-Fi Rush, right? And it's 2017 sequel, The Evil Within 2. Both of those games are amazing, by the way. Evil Within 2, fantastic. How long all these games will be available at the price point of $5, we don't know. But they've got trailers for all of them in here, and you can take a look. But these are for pre-owned games, okay? Soul Calibur's classic games are rumored to be getting remastered. Ooh. Remasters are all the rage nowadays, so what could possibly be next? The latest rumor doing the rounds suggests Bandai Namco could be working on a Soul Calibur collection. Information comes from journalist Nick Baker in the latest Xbox Era podcast. Baker notes how his source hasn't really clarified if it's a remaster of the first game in a long-running fighting series or an entire collection of the earlier entries. If it was a collection, it would presumably include Soul Calibur 2, originally released on the GameCube and multiple other platforms in 2003. While only an Xbox release was referenced when discussing this rumor, Bandai Namco tends to port its fighting games to as many platforms as possible nowadays. Interestingly, this rumor follows Bandai renewing the trademark for Soul Calibur in October last year after the second game was delisted from the Microsoft Store in May of 2022. While trademark renewals don't often reveal much, a handful of Bandai remasters have been uncovered this way in recent times. This includes the Clonoa and Pac-Man remasters, and most recently the GameCube exclusive Batten Kaitos, which had its trademark renewed in May 2021 and is now getting a remaster of the first two games later this year. Okay, Soul Calibur classics might be coming our way then. That's something to keep an eye out for. A lot of people love the Soul Calibur stuff, man. So we'll see what happens there. Game Pass rumor claims Nintendo Switch RPG is being added soon. According to rumor, Shin Megami Tensei 5 is going multi-platform, with the news set to be presented at the 30th anniversary event between May 5th and May 6th for Shin Megami Tensei. When the game will release on other platforms, the rumor doesn't say, but what is mentioned is a Day 1 Xbox Game Pass release. For those unfamiliar with Shin Megami Tensei 5, it's an RPG published by Sega and developer Atlus. The latter is the studio behind Persona, the series it's also best known for. We'll watch this real quick. Maybe inappropriate for some users, watchers, viewers. Mature rating. Hide your eyes, youngins.
あなたは十分に私に手を差し伸べてくれた。でもそれを払いのけたのは私。
What's up, friendo?
正しい道を進むには力が必要だ。
神の禁じた力か。
ほら見て、東京が終わっていく。
Happy Tuesday, broski.
僕らがトンネルに飲み込まれた後、東京に一体何が起こったんだ。
悪魔が住む魔界と化した。そして悪魔たちは人の魂を奪おうとして襲ってきているの。
東京を守るために戦う。それがベテルの日本支部、すなわち我々というわけだ。神の禁じたナホビノとなる力か。どこの誰がもたらした力か知れぬが、その技我らのために使ってもらうぞ。
Xenomorph, dude. Xenomorph Hydra. Sick.
ベテルの定めし秩序を胸に戦え。神とそれを信じるベテルの者たち、今でもその秩序を守ろうとあがいておる。死んでくれる？
悪魔から東京を守るのは絶対に正しいことだ。迷わず自信を持ってできるよ。
これまでの襲撃による被害は甚大だ。
僕は平和に過ごす人々を守るためベテルに協力していたんだが、彼を巻き込んでしまった。俺やっぱり無理だ。
東京を守ることかね。
私は君が人間のために行動しているのだと思っていたのだが、それは間違いか。
汝がそれをなぜ。あの声も言っていたじゃないか。
神々が見守る新しい秩序を作り出そう。
神の決めた定めに苦しめられてきた子羊よ、もう耐える必要はない。
俺甘く見てた。戦うってこと。
ごめんね。あなたがこんなに思い詰める前に私が何とかできれば。お願い、これ以上罪を重ねないで。
Whoa. I don't think I'd ever seen a trailer like that for that game. It's pretty neat. At the moment of publishing, none of the implicated parties, Xbox, Sega, or Atlas, have commented on this rumor in any capacity. Typically, none of these companies comment on rumors. This, combined with a variety of other reasons, suggests this isn't going to change. But if it does, we will update the story accordingly. Xbox Game Pass and Game Pass Ultimate are both available via Xbox One, Series S, X, and PC for $10 and $15 a month, respectively. So there you go. Looks like unofficially, but rumored that Tensai Shin Megami Tensei 5 is going to be coming to Game Pass. Cool. If you need more of that article here, I'll throw it in chat for you. There you go. That co-op farming game with mechs has been delayed. Lightyear Frontier is going to miss its planned early access launch in spring. Let's see what this is.
Hi, I'm Sebastian, and I'm the community manager
I remember
for
seeing
Lightyear
this,
Frontier. We're excited to share our first ever look at the early gameplay of Lightyear Frontier. We hope you enjoy. In Lightyear Frontier, you'll be starting a new home on a distant planet as an exoformer. Your mech comes equipped with all the tools you need, so put them to good use. After you get on your feet, start your first crop by planting seeds and watering them. You'll be able to sell them at the merchant for more materials, or to use in crafting. Balance your use of resources to create a sustainable home. Research and build the first structures of your homestead. Relax every once in a while.
Oh, this could be a dangerous game for me, dude. Base building plus mechs? Holy crap.
Grow crops, and explore your new surroundings.
Like two of my favorite things in video games, dude. If it has fishing, I'm done.
From the environment around you to start. Along the way, take time and enjoy the beauty of your new home in all its vivid and mysterious splendor. The planet is full of beautiful and expansive environments. Be sure to take in the scenery. When night falls, it's time to hit the hay and get rested for another day. Light Your Frontier releases in spring 2023. Take care of nature,
there's
and
no
it'll take
like
care of you.
no
That's all
enemy
for now.
aspect to the game or anything. It doesn't appear. It's just exclusively like it didn't appear to be anyways. Interesting. Okay. Yeah. Generally speaking, if you're talking about mechs, you're talking about massive machines of war in games like BattleTech or Iron Harvest. Light Your Frontier is an unusual but fun-looking twist on that formula. It's a farming sim. Your mechs are farm machines, the fusion-powered bipedal tractors of the future. Autocannons are out, irrigation hoses are in. Today, developer Framebreak announced that it has decided to delay the early access launch that was planned for this spring. A new release target has not been set. With Light Your Frontier, we want to make sure that you feel powerful and engaged in the mech while starting your own homestead, constructing a variety of structures, farming exotic alien crops, and exploring a vibrant and unfamiliar world. Not only do we want to design the game to be fun, but also well balanced, with each aspect of the game intertwining with one another. And we remain committed to building a thoughtfully designed experience and continuing the conversation with your community in the process. Previously indicated that an early access release was planned for 2023 on the Steam page. Now states simply coming soon. Developer Framebreak said that it can't commit to a launch window right now, but will announce one as soon as possible. Yeah, despite the open-ended delay, the reaction to the delay announcement was widely upbeat. Steam user Manji may have captured the mood most aptly, writing, "Better a late start than a bad start." For sure. No doubt about it, man. Yeah. Yep. Absolutely. Okay. What's going on here? Tencent Games to showcase latest innovations in game development at GDC 2023. Tencent, the world's leading game development, publishing, and operation platform, is pleased to announce its presence at the Game Developers Conference 2023 from March 20th through the 24th. What else do we have on the 24th? It's a future game show, right? Yeah. With a record number of 18 sessions and a booth exhibition, Tencent Games will showcase its latest innovations and share its experience and knowledge in a mobile game development with the industry. Sessions will cover a wide range of topics, including machine learning, large-scale and cinematic rendering, next-gen mobile game development techniques, audio techniques, and efficiency tools for pipeline management. The lineup includes many of Tencent's games' exciting titles, including Honor of Kings, Return to Empire, Start Cloud game, upcoming title Arena Breakout from More Fun Studio, Funcom's highly anticipated Dune Awakening, as well as a presentation on the game development tool Cloudflow Pipeline and Gross Game Engine, developed by Tencent Games Common R&D and Operation System Cross. At the Tencent Games booth, attendees can experience the power of gaming technology through the digital Great Wall Cloud game. All that stuff, yeah. They're going to be talking about their anti-cheat stuff as well. Well, I'm sure after Gamescom starts popping off, we'll start seeing some things in the news about not just Tencent. We'll see a lot of Tencent stuff, but we'll see things from other developers and publishers as well, right? Hitman 4 update shared by IO Interactive. Developer IO has shared a new update regarding when fans might see Hitman 4. Back at the start of 2021, IO let loose Hitman 3, which was widely considered the best entry in the most recent Hitman trilogy. Since that time, Hitman 3 has continued to receive a ton of support and even recently folded in all of the maps from the first 2 installments in a rebranding titled Hitman World of Assassination. While some fans have started to hope that a new game in Hitman 4 would soon be on the horizon, sounds like IO is now focused on developing other titles. In a new conversation with Eurogamer, IO CCO Christian Elverdam explained that the company will likely be taking a break from the Hitman franchise for a bit. Although new updates for Hitman 3 will likely still arrive in the future, Elverdam stated that IO Interactive is now more focused on its new James Bond video game than it is on creating a new Hitman title. As such, the series is likely going to be left dormant for a bit. To know that IO isn't looking to abandon Hitman as a whole is promising and should provide relief for those who have been hoping to see a new game come about. Still, if you're someone who has been wanting to see the announcement of Hitman 4 in the near future, it sounds like you should instead prepare yourself to be patient for the next mainline installment in the series to come about. Okay, cool. Good to know. We already saw that. Resident Evil 4 Remake demo cheat code unlocks secret super hard difficulty. Cool, man. So the RE4 Remake demo dropped after Capcom's showcase, which we watched here recently live. Players are still finding new secrets. One of these secrets is a super hard difficulty mode that can only be unlocked through cheat codes. No flipping way. That's awesome. As found by YouTube user 7RayD, players have to go to the main menu and input the following code after holding L1 and R1. Up, left, down, right, square, triangle, circle, and then X. Dude, that's an old code. The corresponding buttons also work on Xbox Series X and S, and PC users have to hold Shift and Space while holding WASD, RIE, and F. This will prompt a pop-up allowing users to accept or decline the challenge of Mad Chainsaw mode. This mode won't be in the full game, but does make the enemies more aggressive and hit harder. There's even an extra surprise in the basement in the first house. And the chainsaw-wielding Ganado, Dr. Salvador, is also just a bit different since he has sparks shooting out of his weapon. Nice. Players have been finding all sorts of other secrets in this demo too. For example, if players ditch their inventory after using the key to unlock the first door, they'll be able to go to the back of the village during the big fight and climb down a ladder for the TMP, which carries over to subsequent runs of the demo. Also possible to spawn 2 versions of Dr. Salvador. Neat, man. That's pretty neat. If you guys want to watch that here, check it out. There you go. That's pretty cool, man. I love it. That's very nostalgic for old school gamers of single player games, having like codes to put in and stuff. Whew, excuse me. That's really neat. The Cycle Frontier producer says Escape from Tarkov's cheating controversy is a chance to win over fans. The Cycle Frontier lead producer Matt Lightfoot has commented on Escape from Tarkov's current issues with cheating and claimed it's an opportunity for the Cycle to gain new players. Speaking to NME, Lightfoot acknowledged that the Cycle Frontier had, quote, painful and horrific issues with cheating during its launch in 2022. Since then, Lightfoot shared that developer Jaeger has invested significantly in anti-cheat features, including a compensation system for players who fall victim to cheaters, as well as more sophisticated detection methods. While Lightfoot shared that the Cycle is now in a pretty good state due to rarer cheats, he acknowledged that fellow extraction shooter Escape from Tarkov is currently facing backlash from its community surrounding the prevalence of cheating. Yeah, has been for a while, actually. Quote, I'll be very blunt. I want everyone in video games to succeed. I think there's a lot of space and there's a lot of different flavors for people's personal tastes, said Lightfoot. Right now, I'm working on the Cycle, so I'm going back to the Cycle, and I want my horse to be ahead of everyone else's. I was one of the original creators behind DayZ, and Tarkov kind of came out of that hardcore survivalism. The producer continued, by their challenges to address hacking and, to some extent, our element of willingness and proactivity that gives us a unique moment to be able to really capture some of the hardcore audience and bring them across. I think it's fair to say that the Cycle has a bit less exposure than Tarkov, hopefully with some of the challenges they have, and hopefully they're only temporary. It gives the Cycle more exposure to be able to really shine and show its value. Lightfoot joked that some hackers would have a whole redemption arc in DayZ after being caught, spending 3 or 4 hours swimming back to the main island, navigating by the stars. Give us a good way to be able to ask, what can we do easily that's effective? So when we look at that cycle, it's not only long-term solutions that we've implemented, like Battle Eye, our anti-tamper solution, and back-end solutions not too dissimilar with what I spoke about with DayZ. It's about being able to detect sketchy situations and look at statistics and look at the human aspect as well. Cool. What is this game? Dude, I don't think I've ever seen this game. What is this? The Cycle Frontier, huh? Is that on Steam? Do you guys know this game? Mixed. Yikes.
The Cycle Frontier is a PvP extraction shooter driven by suspense and danger. While you search and loot on the planet Fortuna 3, fights against other players and creatures constantly threaten your survival. As a prospector, you choose the gear and weapons, pick your destination in one of the 3 unique maps, and drop down onto the surface for faction quests, exploration, and battles. Your goal is to survive and escape with whatever loot you've managed to acquire, picked up from the ground or taken by force. Falling prey to the planet's dangers means you're leaving empty-handed, but should you manage to escape, Season 2 of the Cycle Frontier brings many new additions to the game. Since every season ends with a progression wipe, this offers a fresh start for everyone. Experience challenging, high-stakes PvP encounters solo, as a duo, or in a squad of 3 in the depths of Theros Island, the brand new second season of the Cycle Frontier.
Yeah. My sentiments exactly. All reviews 40,000 all time are 61% positive, and recent reviews within the last 30 days. Dude, there's an emote over my head. Yo, thanks, Peter. Appreciate it, buddy.
X100.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it. 58% positive of over 800 reviews within the last 30 days. Yeah, I mean, it's free. If you guys wanted to try it out, see, it didn't look all that interesting to me, really. But I mean, if it does to you, it's free, so maybe worth a check out. If you do, let me know what you think. You know, I'll link it. I'll link it here. Thanks for the cheers, buddy. Okay. Yeah. I mean, we have seen a lot of the Tarkov issues here lately. Well, Tarkov's had cheating issues for a long time, but it's really coming to the forefront in the news here recently. Battlefield 2042 is currently free to play on Steam. It's also on all the subscription services and everything right now, too. I think that DICE and EA are really going to start ramping up the next Battlefield game before too long. I don't think they're going to be supporting 2042 too much longer. Shooter is available for free until March 16th. Free on Steam this week. I don't think it's free forever if you grab it now, but just free this week. As DICE's Shooter enjoys a resurgence in popularity following a poorly received launch. Battlefield 2042's free-to-play period kicked off last night and will allow players to jump in at no cost until Thursday. For the same 4 days, Battlefield 2042 is currently 70% off its usual price and can be bought for £15. You know, as DICE has acknowledged in the post, 2042 is currently seeing a shift in popularity. Shooter was a hit with thousands of negative player reviews when it first launched in 2021, with critics taking aim at the broken mess. It was bad due to a range of technical issues and unpopular design choices. A petition demanding refunds reached over 50,000 signatures, while soon after launch, Battlefield 2042 became one of the worst reviewed games on Steam. Even David Goldfarb, who was the lead director for Battlefield 3 and Bad Company 2, said that he was astonished at 2042's missteps. However, DICE has spent over a year patching the game, and sentiment on the game is beginning to turn around. Battlefield's original class system was restored in January, while prior updates hammered out bugs and introduced new maps. In February, NME claimed that Battlefield 2042 has completed its redemption arc since reintroducing the class system. Feels like the game's gotten out of its own way a bit and let people get stuck in and enjoy the huge firefights that Battlefield has always been known for, reads our feature. This is great news because no one does large-scale combat quite like Battlefield. Yeah, it was quite gross. quite. There are actually some really wild videos. Like if you don't remember, there were people like falling through the environment, and there were like really weird groups of like rubber ducks that were like underneath the environment and stuff like that people were like falling into. It was really weird. The game was a hot mess, dude. It was really bad. Here's my thing. Like, dude, if you want to go play this game for free, cool. My own take on this kind of situation is like, no game should ever be released in that state. Yeah. And it's really hard for me to want to give a developer. Yeah. Have you not seen it here? Dude, let me, jeez, dude. Let's see if I can pull up an image. Check it out. I'll throw this in chat real quick. The 2042 ducks, dude. There it is. Like, check out these images. Like right here. Like, look at this. Look at this, dude. Yeah, Battlefield 2042 Sentry guns might be powered by ducks. There was like weird stuff going on in the game, and people were like falling through the environment. There were like these ducks down. Like you can see, this is the entire playing field up here. People were like falling through, and they were getting like they were falling into these massive like ducks and stuff. There was all kinds of weird stuff going on in this game. I'll let you guys read that one. We saw this a long time ago, but there was weird stuff going on, man. What? Yeah, one article said better late than a hot mess for sure. Yeah, Ghost. I mean that's my thing. You know, I have a really hard time wanting to support a title, a developer at all monetarily, if they release a game in a mess. Kudos to them for sticking with it and trying to get it sorted out. The game should have never been released like that in the first place, right? And so I don't know, Peter, I highly doubt it, dude. I highly doubt it. I don't know what was going on. There's some weird stuff, man, going on in that game. I don't know. Maybe there was a developer that was disgruntled and was like trolled out, you know, by doing something like that nobody caught. Who knows, man? It could have been something like that. But that's where like I have a really hard time wanting to like put money into a title, even if the developer, like for instance, like for Cyberpunk, you know, I've had a lot of people go, yo, Cyberpunk's a pretty good game nowadays, and it's worth checking out. I have trouble with the idea of paying for that game. I have trouble paying for that game because I don't see a game that releases in that state. That should never happen. And for me personally, I have a hard time giving money to a company that thinks it's okay to release games in that state and go, oh, it's okay to just patch it afterwards. You know what I'm saying? That's my own personal viewpoint on it. So, like, there are games that I would like to play that I still haven't played to this point because I have a hard time justifying supporting the company when they've done things like that. You talk about Hello Games with No Man's Sky. I would love to play No Man's Sky, but I'm not thrilled about the way they released that game, and therefore, and there are other things about No Man's Sky that I think are amazing. The fact that they've turned that game into something fantastic, and they don't make people pay for any of the content that's come out afterwards. I think that's amazing, and it's a great example for the rest of the gaming industry. But no game should ever be released in that state, No game is perfect, right? Yeah, and I don't expect any game to be perfect, but there are some examples of games that are unacceptable on release, right? I expect there to be a little bit of bugs and things like that to deal with maybe, but a game should not feel terrible to play. And a game should not have game-breaking bugs and things like that, So there's a difference. There's a big difference. I can deal with, some weird bugginess here and there, the things that need to be patched after the fact. But for games to be released in a state that are just absolutely abysmal to where you can't like hardly even play the game or even play the game at all, because of what a hot mess it is. I have a really hard time even caring to give that developer any money until I see something change from them in the future. So that's just my own personal take on things. It's hard for me to want to support a company that doesn't care about quality, you know, in the first place. So I don't know. But Battlefield. Back to the Battlefield thing. Apparently the game is in a much better state than it ever was, and it is on subscription services right now, PS Plus and Xbox Game Pass, and you can play it for free right now on Steam as well. So if you've been wanting to try it out, it is supposed to be in a much better state than it ever was, and you can play it for free right now. So it might be worth a shot. PS5 finally copies popular Xbox Series X feature. So Sony has finally copied Xbox and the Xbox Series X with a small but popular quality of life feature on their PS5. Last generation, the PS4 had a variety of features that Xbox One didn't. On the flip side, the PS4 was missing features the Xbox One had. The reality is that while both consoles are more similar than different, there are differences that create a distinction between the two. These differences can be seen the most when analyzing the feature set of the pair of machines. However, as the generation goes on, the number of differences shrinks as each reacts to the other and copies each other. To this end, the PS5 finally has a very handy feature. It really should have had it to launch. The recent PS5 update added new functionality involving game discs. More specifically, with the update installed, if a PS5 user buys a digital version of a game already installed via disc, you can use the same disc installation to play the digital copy without inserting the disc. Old Battlefield games, yeah. Yeah, I have some of the old Battlefield games, dude. Yeah, no doubt. If a PS5 user buys a digital version of a game already installed via disc, you can use the same disc installation to play the digital copy without inserting the disc. What? This also applies to games downloaded via PS Plus that meet this criteria. Seems like a tiny quality of life feature, and it is, but it's one PlayStation fans have been asking for and are happy to see finally. What's the purpose of this, though? I'm not wrapping my head around like where the application of this appeals to people. I don't get it. Yeah, I know what you meant, dude. I know what you meant, Peter. That was just funny. That was a funny misspelling. Huge quality of life change that I loved on Xbox, writes one PlayStation fan of the changeover on Reset Era. Very glad to see it make the jump, as the few times I ran into the issue, it was a bit annoying having to re-download everything on a slower connection. That's an awesome change. They kept quiet, adds another PS fan. Most of the big changes didn't really apply to me, so wasn't very interested. This was a big bother in the PS4 era for sure. Okay, so why are people buying multiple copies of games? This is what I'm not understanding. Why are you buying a digital version of a game if you already have the physical copy of it on your PlayStation? That's what keeps like weirding me out about this situation. I'm not understanding. That seems like overkill. I must be missing something here, dude. So Peter, I do both. Yeah. I mean, so for PC, I've been, digital library on PC for a very long time. But I still maintain so for Nintendo, that's where I maintain all my physical stuff at. So like for the Switch, I buy I've got probably 95% of my games that I have for the Switch are physical still. I like having a bit of a physical library somewhere that I don't have to worry about, having a live internet connection to pop a game in and play or whatever. I've still got a lot of old consoles that I have a ton of physical copies of games on, before everything started going more digital and stuff too. But I think that in the world of DRM, the prominence of gaming nowadays and the incorporation of DRM that we deal with on the constant. And for those of you that might not be familiar with DRM, it's a form of anti-piracy that a lot of platforms try to incorporate. And for instance, if you're like using Epic or Steam, even if it's a single player game that doesn't require any kind of online connectivity, it has no kind of online aspects to the game, you still won't be able to play that game if you're not connected to Epic or Steam servers, right? So that's what DRM is. It doesn't matter if it's just a single player game. If you have it downloaded and installed already, it doesn't matter. If you can't connect to Steam servers, you can't play those games, right? As opposed to a platform like GOG, which is Good Old Games and is owned by actually CD Projekt Red. They promote their platform as DRM free. So they and this is a rarity nowadays, but they promote their platform as being DRM free. So outside of the requirement for any kind of multiplayer or online titles or whatever, any kind of titles that require online access for whatever kinds of online integration they have for titles. If it's just simply a single player game on GOG, as long as you own it, it's already downloaded and installed, then you don't have to worry about connecting to their servers or anything. You can always play that game even if you don't have an internet connection, right? And it's not that the internet is something that you normally have to worry about having an active connection nowadays for a lot of people. There's still an amount of people that have to worry about that, but there's always the potential for needing to play games in a way that you might not want to have digital copies and might not want to be dealing with DRM and things like that. And for me, I like having the physical copies on the Switch, man. That's just kind of where I've gone with things, I still like the being able to like grab the little cartridges or the little SD cards, pop them in and play the games and stuff like that, and not have to worry about like a whole bunch of memory space or storage space being taken up on the Switch and stuff like that. So I have a large digital collection. I have a large physical collection too, or I have an amount of physical collection that I still accumulate. Yeah, that's true. That's true. Yep. Yeah, that's a good point. It's a good point. Yep. Yeah, no doubt about it. Mhm. Yep. Very, very true. Yeah, yeah, no doubt. Yeah, optical drives have always been loud, or usually, anyways. Yeah, I mean that's one of the things I definitely don't miss about my PCs. All the PCs back in the day, throwing discs in them and stuff. It just sounded like a constant revving. It's just constant revving, dude. And I don't miss the disc drives, dude, the optical drives at all. So yeah, that's a good point, dude. It's a good point about the physical side of things. I don't think about quite often. I'm not one of those people that ever resold stuff really, though, so that doesn't come to mind for me. It was like, usually if I bought a game, I held on to it, 4-disc install. Oh yeah, dude. I remember those. For sure. Yeah. Oh baby. I remember the 4-disc install. Dog, I remember flipping floppy days, disc having to pop in flipping 3.5-inch floppies, disc after disc after disc, man, to install games, Yeah. So from that into the optical world of discs and having multiple discs and stuff, yeah, I remember it, dude. Yeah, no doubt. So it's a much more, it's a lot easier with the digital front of things, it is. It's a much more the ease of access, just having your library at your fingertips. Yo, Preacher, what's up, dog? You just pop into your platform and select whatever game you want to download and install and play or whatever, and it's easy like that. You don't have to worry about managing the physical collection. There are pros and cons to both sides of it, right? Yeah, there are pros and cons. What's up, Preacher? How you doing, buddy? I'll have to maybe take a bit of a more of a dive. It seems like people are buying multiple copies of games, same games. I don't know what's going on there. It's a bit. I'm not grasping something about that situation. Forspoken reportedly cost over $100 million to develop, and again, if you hadn't heard, Luminous got swallowed after here recently by Square Enix. So they were a subsidiary developer under Square, and Square was like, "You're done," because Forspoken has done pretty terrible. The gaming industry is shrouded in mystery, and it's very rare that we get a glimpse behind the curtain. This is one of the reasons that so many people have taken such an interest in the legal proceedings of the Activision Blizzard acquisition. A variety of interesting tidbits have been revealed thanks to the pending deal for Microsoft, which has offered insight into how the industry works behind closed doors. However, the scale and cost of developing a AAA game have remained quite a mystery despite all we have learned over the past few years. However, thanks to a job listing, we have an idea of how much Forspoken by Luminous cost to develop. In a job listing discovered by Twitter users Timmer2022, it was just revealed how much it cost for Luminous Productions and Square to develop the action-adventure game. Alison Reimer, who is the lead writer for Forspoken, revealed in her job description on LinkedIn that it cost over $100 million to develop the game that launched earlier this year. That is not going to be, that should be taken with a grain of salt. Let's say that. Because those numbers could be fluffed because that's just word of mouth. That's just something somebody wrote. Unless you have dedicated financial reports on everything that was I'm not saying it's not true either, but until you got some kind of absolute financial statements out on everything that was put into that game, you're not going to know exactly how much it costs, right? But yeah, if this is even remotely close, it's disgusting because the game did not do very good either. It was not great. Allison was approached to be the lead writer on a AAA video game for one of the biggest video game companies in the world, Square Enix Luminous. She spearheaded the story behind Forspoken, which cost over $100 million to make. Now, $100 million seems like a lot of money, but after the announcement from Embracer that the Saints Row reboot cost them over $110 million, we're beginning to see a pattern in the rising cost of AAA games. One failed release can cripple a studio financially and even may cause the closure of that studio. As the industry continues to grow and expand, that does not mean the risk of failure is lower. If nothing else, with the sheer volume of titles being released now, it has become even harder for games to stand out without spending a good chunk of change on marketing plans. It will be interesting to see what the future holds for AAA gaming as costs continue to rise, much like everything else in our lives. Okay, hold on though. That's not always the case. And we had a great example this year already. We had a great example of a game that got shadow dropped, had no kind of marketing hype behind it, and has blown people away and didn't even release at a high price point. Poor Square Enix. I don't feel I don't feel for Square Enix. Everything I know about Square right now is really kind of gross. And look, I grew up loving Square, right? So, Square is the creator of my favorite game ever made, which is Final Fantasy VII. They've created some of my favorite games ever, which are a lot of the Final Fantasy series. But Square Enix is one of those developers that I feel like has gotten so big and blinded by greed that a lot of what they do is not based on gaming anymore. It's just based on money, you know? And we see this happen quite often with big developers. But I think it's really become apparent with their pivot into, and they're very public about this pivot too, their venture into NFT, Web3, blockchain space of gaming. And they're very public about it. They're like, this is where we want to be. This is where we're going to go. So get ready for it. And I mean, I've said this time and time again, you know, as far as some of that stuff goes, I can see where it could be mutually beneficial for the gamer and developer, but it's not being incorporated like that. Everything I've seen within the industry, and it would take a more fleshed out, grandiose kind of gaming universe where a lot of these different developers have worlds that are intermeshed, and items can be taken, you know, on an NFT space tied to each individual person in a blockchain kind of way from one game to another, and utilize, like maybe a car from Gran Turismo could be taken into, you know, Grand Theft Auto or something like that, and it'd be an NFT type of situation where it's a very unique kind of item that it would be tied to you uniquely, and it would be also something other people would really want, and therefore, you know, the more unique something is, the more it could be potentially worth in a monetary fashion, and you know, that kind of thing. I can see where it would be mutually beneficial, but it's not being incorporated that way by developers right now. And the universe, the gaming universe, is not fleshed out. It's not big enough and intertwined enough for it to be utilized like that. So about everything I've seen right now that's being done in the form of Web3, blockchain, NFT space, I don't even like referring to them as games, because they're actually just software based on the premise of video games, and it's all about like play to earn. It turns gaming what these software is. It turns people into like playing a game type software as a job. It takes the fun out of stuff, and it's quite often scammy, really scummy kind of stuff. People are constantly getting scammed out of their money, and it's really gross kind of stuff. And to see big companies want to dive into it that have already been trending in the wrong direction, like Square, it really just shines a light, I think, in my eyes anyways, on how greed driven they are, and how they don't really have any big drive from the top down on what gaming is anymore. It's just money, 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 you know. That's the way it seems to me anyways. But you know what I was talking about here is this isn't always the case. And you know, Tango shadow dropped a game on us earlier this year, Hi-Fi Rush. This game came out at a $30 price point, which is less than half of what AAA games are actually releasing at normally nowadays. And it was an amazing experience. They put no kind of marketing hype behind it. Nobody knew it was coming. It felt fantastic on release. And it's done fantastic. So to say that, like, and we don't know how much it cost for them to make that game or anything, but it would be interesting to see, would it not? It would be really interesting to see how much Tango potentially invested in the entire production and development of a game like Hi-Fi Rush, in which they were willing to shadow drop it on the consumer, us as gamers, at a less than half price point of most AA, AAA games nowadays, and have done very well with it. So I think there's something to be said for companies that are very good with their internal processes of knowing what they're doing and pushing out quality content, as opposed to some of these big companies that think that you're going to do good just by dumping a ton of money into something and then hyping up the marketing behind it. I think we're working our way out of a big part of the industry that worked for such a very long time. You know, there was a long time in which that worked, but there's a lot of that stuff which really got a bunch of us gamers jaded by us getting duped by bad releases. It was big budget games that were supposed to be great, and then they got released. They were hyped up, they got released, and they were trash. And so I think that, you know, the times of just being able to dump a huge budget into a game and then hype it up with marketing and be like, oh, it'll do well because of that. I think that time has really come to an end for the most part. Forspoken did terrible. It was not a good game for most people anyways. If you need more out of that article here, I think Pinky hit me up. Hold on, guys. Let me see this. Yeah, let me see. I've got to look at this, dude. I'm gonna have to look at this after the news, dude. Pinky's trying to get AI to tell him what my real name is. Oh, you played the trial? Yeah. Yeah, I mean, even the demo, you know, that was one of the things that was crazy about the demo. The demo, too, was from everything that I was taking out of information coming out of the industry and from the developer and everything from Luminous and Square, the demo was not even content taken out of the game itself. It was completely developed aside from the actual in-game content, which was really weird. That's a really weird take. Most of the time, you know, demos have become more prevalent nowadays because of the issue that developers found themselves in was too many people, too many gamers, and us as consumers. We found ourselves in this situation, right, where we were getting duped all the time, and people started feeling like we were getting scammed. You know, we were getting our money stolen from us with trash games that were supposed to be good. And so what people started doing, I think, quite often was resorting to piracy. You know, they're like, I don't want to spend my money up front. I want to see what the game feels like first. Because you remember way back in the day, dude, demos were all over the place. And all of a sudden, demos just like stopped being made for a long time. So nobody knew what the game was actually going to feel like or play like anymore. Outside of what the developer was telling you. Yeah. And so then with all the bad releases and the bad experiences people were having, I think a lot of people started resorting to piracy. They started resorting to piracy so they could get a taste for what the game was. And I think a lot of people had good notions behind it and like, you know, well, if the game feels good, I'll buy it. But that probably didn't always happen, right? Oh, yeah, Peter. Yeah, demos were all over the place back then, right? But now you're seeing more of a resurgence of it again, yeah? So there are demos all over the place now. And I think that's a big reason for it from developers is like they've started to notice that there is a need for them again because people need to know what the game's going to feel like in order to be comfortable buying it. And to see Forspoken come out and be like, oh, well, this isn't really necessarily going to be indicative. And let's be very clear. No demo is going to be 100%, you know, an idea of what the base game, you know, the release state of the game is going to give you. It should be fairly close, right? But for Square and Luminous to put out a demo and go, oh, well, this was completely developed aside. This is nothing that you're going to experience in the main game. It was like, wait, what? Why, though? That's weird. That doesn't make sense. The point of a demo is so that people can get an experience of what the game on release, for at least in good part, is going to give you experience-wise. That was another thing that really turned me off. Is like, there's something weird there. There's something wrong with that. Kayla, what's going on? How are you? Yeah. Yeah. So Valve outlines new Steam Deck gaming handheld timeline. Valve employees have hinted at the state of the Steam Deck platform going forward. While many gaming handheld manufacturers release new models yearly, Valve will take a different approach. However, this means that the Steam Deck will remain a current gen device for a while to come. Steam Deck has been on the market for over a year now, although it took Valve until October 2022 before it started offering the gaming handheld without any pre-order restrictions. While the company has not released recent Steam Deck sales figures, it claims last autumn to have sold over 1 million units. Valve has made it clear that the Steam Deck could be around for another few years, with no next-gen model due for a while yet. Incidentally, Lawrence Yang and Pierre-Louis Graffat, dude, I probably butchered that. I'm sorry, Pierre. A UX designer and developer at Valve respectively hinted as much in their December 2022 interview with The Verge. This month, a rock, paper, shotgun conducted an interview with the pair in which Yang is quoted, "A true next-gen deck with a significant bump in horsepower wouldn't be a few years away." Oh, okay. Got sick at work, so leaving. Oh, I'm sorry. Snowing pretty bad? State of emergency? Really? Oh, geez. Kayla, be safe getting home, okay? Be safe getting home. I'm sorry you're not feeling well. Neither Yang nor Graffat explained why Valve has decided to adopt Microsoft and Sony's games consoles hardware strategy, unlike its gaming handheld competitors. However, their December interview suggests that Valve does not consider that newer AMD APUs deliver tangible performance benefits over the custom Aerith APU powering the Steam Deck. Companies may still release minor Steam Deck revisions, though, such as display, housing, and internal improvements. The Steam Deck has been I have not gotten my hands on one, but everything I know about it is what a great little handheld PC gaming platform. Like, fantastic all the way around. Not just performance-wise, but like the way they built this thing to allow people ease of access for messing with the software, fixing the hardware if anything goes wrong. You can open up the case and outside of like doing anything like apparent that would destruct it, you're not going to void the warranty on it. They made parts for it easily accessible and easy to replace. It is supposed to be an amazing piece of gaming hardware. Price point? It varies. I'll show you real quick. It varies. You're talking about anywhere from like, I think around 400 to about 600 to 700. Depending on what you want out of it. Now, the one criticism from me constantly for the Steam Deck has been
the Cycle Frontier.
400 right there for the base model. To about 650 US. Now, this is US, right? So convert that to whatever pricing. And where's Mithril at? We got to get these to the to our Australian friendos too. Where's Mithril at, dude? Gonna go home, pass out, hopefully. Yeah, I hope so. Yeah. I hope you rest well. Maybe we'll see you later, okay, Caleb? Be safe getting home, though, okay? Yeah. I mean, this thing plays games very, very well, too. And the thing that bugs me is that it doesn't come with any kind of dock, For a handheld like this in the current state of evolution of gaming that we're in, and the fact, I mean, you've seen... The Switch has been out since, 2017, right? Okay, Kayla. Yeah, thanks. Okay, cool. Yeah. Awesome. So, the Switch comes with a dock. It's nothing fancy, right? But it gives you options for, putting it into a dock. And it has a few ports on it for, putting the game onto another screen or what have you, and things like that. So you can dock these, but that's the thing. This is what's kind of gross about it. So docking these requires you pay an additional. See, there's a dock. Get it now. They want you to pay for the dock, right? Which is kind of gross, in my opinion. And the dock didn't come out until here recently. So the dock didn't come out, I mean, until like a while after the Steam Deck was even available. How much does a dock even cost? Almost $100. So it's almost $100 for just the dock, you know? And I can understand maybe Valve wanting to be like, yo, we should make like a more elaborate dock, more ports, you know, things like that would maybe cost, you know, give people the option to get an upgraded dock for more ports on it and connectivity and things like that. Well, Amazon has other ones. There are other ones that are available for it that you can buy, and they'll be much cheaper and stuff. So, yeah, that's absolutely a case. But in my opinion, I mean, just straight from the manufacturer, they should have had some kind of like just base dock for this. That can't, I mean, if you're going to be paying, you know, be paying for this thing in what it is, and the fact that the trend of these kinds of devices, especially with like what the Switch is, right? The Switch comes with a dock. This, in my opinion, should have come with a dock too. It should have come with a dock so that you can hook it up to any kind of monitor or TV, and you can connect a wireless controller to it, or even a connected controller or whatever, and play it the same way as you do the Switch, right? It didn't need to be anything fancy. It could have been something very, very basic. And then, you know, they could have come out with this more elaborate version that people could have bought as well if that's what they wanted. But in my opinion, that's about the only criticism I really had for the Steam Deck out of the gate was, you know, some kind of basic version of the dock should have been available for this thing. It should have come with it as the purchase, rather than needing to be something purchased along with it, you know? That didn't sit too well with me. But other than that, this is supposed to be an amazing device. And there are so many games on Steam's platform now that are Steam Deck verified, which, if you don't know what that means, these are games that are actually, they've been optimized to run specifically on the Steam Deck, right? So that doesn't mean that games that aren't verified won't run well on it, but there might be some wonkiness to them, right? But I mean, I'm talking thousands of games at this point have been Steam Deck verified, so they actually are optimized to run on this device. People are loving it, man, and they're doing a great job with it. Let's see here. Google's plan to dominate the gaming world in 2023. Stadia 2? Right? So Stadia's downfall has not deterred the tech giant from forging a dominant position in the gaming industry as a cloud service provider. This move is pressuring competitors such as Microsoft and Amazon Games. Google's cloud director of gaming industry solutions, Jack Buser, asserts that Stadia's failure has influenced the company's new strategy, as it has allowed them to prioritize game developers building their games with Google's cloud infrastructure. We still dog. We still play ours. We was great, dude. Loved the Wii was so innovative, dude. It was really it was pretty groundbreaking. Like, for real. The Wii was dope, dude. The Wii was sick. We still play like some Mario Party stuff on there and things like that. Yeah, I've got like Wii was insane, dude. I've got funny enough. I didn't mean to get sidetracked here. Thanks, Syke. What's up, buddy? How are you, dude? Happy Tuesday. How'd all the interview stuff go, dude? What I have? Dragon Ball Budokai Kaichi 3 or whatever. I had that game on for a long time on the Wii, and my son picked it up a while back and got really into it. So that was like my son's introduction to Dragon Ball video games. And he picked that up and played it. And then he was like, do we have any other Dragon Ball games? And I had Xenoverse 1 and 2 on my Steam. So he started playing those. Or I had Xenoverse 1 on mine. Xenoverse 1. So he played Xenoverse 1 on my Steam my Steam account and blasted through it. And then we got Xenoverse 2 because he really wanted to play it. And then we just saw the other day in the news, this what is it? The Budokai Tenkaichi 3 or 4 has been announced, and my son's just so jacked, dude. So jacked. That's where the Wii was and it worked really well, dude. For the Dragon Ball stuff with the Budokai, it was really fun, dude. With the motion controls and stuff, it was really cool. Okay, won't be making the team. Sorry, buddy. You're gonna have to interview some more people and stuff. So, Buser, who was Stadia's 10th employee in 2016, previously worked for PlayStation. The initial launch of Stadia aimed to rival industry powerhouses such as Sony, Microsoft, and Nintendo by enabling players to stream games remotely from servers without requiring a home console or PC. It was at the moment when we basically had to make decisions about Stadia that we realized that at Google Cloud, we are at our best when we are helping other people build this stuff, not necessarily building it ourselves. Buser's reference to stuff refers to a suite of cloud-based services that Google is pitching to major publishers, such as Ubi, Niantic, and Unity. While this offering may appear similar to cloud-based solutions provided by rivals such as Microsoft, Azure, and Amazon, Google is taking a different approach. Buser elucidated that Google's primary goal is to assist in managing and maintaining live service games, which are games that continuously receive updates, such as the immensely popular game Genshin Impact. Worth noting that Google is exclusively focusing on live service games, setting them apart from other cloud service providers in the market. Yo, Shane, what's up, dog? What you doing, buddy? Google is presenting a bundle of services to gaming enterprises that are specifically crafted for the management of live service games. These games are meant to be played and updated indefinitely, and Google's suite of services is customized to cater to the distinct requirements of this category of games. Besides the server platform, Google's service package for game publishers also incorporates an analytics suite for observing player and game actions, along with data management program. These provisions are especially vital for live service games as they empower developers to efficiently manage and sustain these game types. Google is positioning its services as a remedy for reducing the risks linked with creating and hosting live service games. With an eye towards 2023 Game Developers Conference, which is kicking off pretty soon, GDC 2023, right? The technology behemoth intends to lure fresh, high-profile clients to its service bundle. Google's move to redirect its gaming strategy towards cloud-based services and backing for live service games is a daring step. Although the failure of Stadia may have been disheartening for gaming enthusiasts, the company's refreshed emphasis on supporting game developers and publishers is a shrewd business strategy that may yield substantial benefits in the long term. As Google vies with dominant players such as Microsoft and Amazon Games, its focused approach in providing specialized cloud-based services for live service games could potentially give the technology giant a competitive advantage in the market. Yeah, I mean, Stadia did not pan out for them, but it was probably a good experience for them just in the cloud gaming space, right? So it seems like, anyways, that's what they're trying to take it as, is like a lessons learned kind of thing, and pivot it into something that can still be useful for them, right? So we'll see how it works out for them. The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom skipping major gaming event. The PAX East. Yeah, skipping PAX East. For the second year, PAX East is returning to a live venue. Due to lingering COVID concerns, most major game developers skipped the 2022 event, which made fans wonder if this will be the standard from now on. However, things seem to be looking up for PAX East as two big names have confirmed their presence at the convention. Nintendo and Square Enix will both be there, the latter bringing Final Fantasy XVI, which is coming out in June. However, despite the fact that The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom is coming out before the latest Final Fantasy, Nintendo has confirmed it's not showing the game at PAX East. According to a Nintendo spokesperson, the company will be hosting competitive gaming, but no further elaboration was given on the exact activities. Regardless of what Nintendo is actually bringing to PAX East, it's easy to speculate on why Tears of the Kingdom will be skipping the convention. Before the next Zelda game comes out, there's another big release on Nintendo's calendar, and that's Super Mario Bros. The movie. So it seems likely Nintendo will decide to rather focus on promotion around that product for now instead of Tears of the Kingdom. Even if this development is a disappointment to some fans overall, the fact that big names such as Nintendo and Square are returning to the convention scene should be a reason for optimism. Other big names have also confirmed they're present at PAX, like Focus Entertainment, THQ Nordic, but no news of what games those developers are going to be bringing. Yeah, Tears of the Kingdom is coming very soon, so we're going to see more shortly. You can bet on that. But Nintendo's pretty good at like keeping their lips tight and the doors kind of shut unless they absolutely want to show you some stuff. You know, there's already been a little bit of some leaked stuff. If you didn't know, they had like an art book that came out about I don't know what within the past month. Man, they had an art book come out that is potentially providing some spoilers on a lot of the content that you're going to see in the game, anyways, in regards to enemies and things of that nature. So that's out there if you want to take a look at it. Yeah, PC gaming giant Steam breaks company record, almost 11,000 titles released last year. The world's largest gaming platform, Steam, has seen a surge in the number of new releases over the past 5 years. Last year, Steam broke its previously company record with 10,963 games released. The platform reached its all-time high with new gaming titles in a year, jumping from 73% in 2022. In the last 3 years, Steam has released more than 30,000 games. Yes, Steam has long been dominant in PC gaming through its massive user base and regular new releases and long-beloved franchises like Team Fortress 2 and the Half-Life series. Millions use Steam for their variety of options, including traditional online multiplayer shooters to farming simulators. Yeah, that's a lot. Now, again, I mean, well, you have to this is a very, very, Steam has made itself the go-to platform for developers to release their titles on PC for quite a while now. So, now Epic just also incorporated their method of allowing developers to do this on their platform as well. So this is a big deal for platforms on the PC space especially. And it's been a great thing for Steam, right? But that's what this is really getting down to. It's not like these are all Steam developed games, right? These are developers that Steam allows to release their games on their platform. Yeah. Now, Epic's big differences with what, and this has just come out over the past week, that Epic now has the ability for developers to publish games on their platform as well. The big differences between Steam and Epic is that Epic is not requiring. It's a pretty significant difference in the split. I can't remember what it is off the top of my head, but it's a much less of a split between what the developer gets. The developer gets quite a bit more on Epic right now in regards to profit than they do on Steam. But the other big difference for Epic right now is that if you want to release a game on Epic, it has to be multi-cross platform. They are requiring that if you want to release a game on Epic's platform, it has to be multi-platform. I don't know if it was cross-platform, but it has to be multi-platform. That's what they're requiring. But I think it might be cross-platform too. Whereas that's not a requirement for Steam. So that is something that is probably going to be looked at by certain developers as an obstacle that they're not necessarily wanting to dive into, because that requires a good amount more development, right? But at the same time, being a more lucrative potential platform to release the game on, being Epic, might be enough to bring people over, developer-wise. We'll see. We'll have to see how it goes. But I mean, it was something that Epic really needed to do if they were going to try and compete in any form or fashion with what Steam. Steam is so ingrained. They've been the platform for PC for such a very long time. They do everything. They do a lot of things very, very well for PC gaming. And so Epic's, I think a lot of people initially thought Epic was going to fail. You know, I think a lot of people initially thought Epic was not going to be able to stick around, but they've done it. And they had some good plays, giving away free titles, you know, things like that was a good play by them. People get turned off by having to have so many titles in different platforms, you know. It does suck. It does suck. But there are cool platforms like GOG that allow you to import all your libraries into one space and stuff like that. And so, you know, but it can be daunting, and it can be a turnoff for people. Yeah, you're probably right, Syke. They might also be including like small content DLC. I don't know. I mean, dude, there are a ton of games though on like the number of total games that are on Steam is like astronomical. It's insane. So Steam has long been dominant in PC gaming through its massive user base and regular new releases in long-beloved franchises like Team Fortress 2 and Half-Life. Millions use Steam for their variety of options, including traditional online multiplayer shooters to farming simulators. Steam was released in September of 2003 and launched 7 games in 2004. This number has since skyrocketed in the following years, reaching over 8,100 in 2018. There were a few less in 2019, but amid the COVID-19 lockdown, the demand for video games reached a high demand again, forming a 23% year-over growth with over 9,600 games released in 2020. In 2021, Steam released over 10,000 games, just 680 games shy of the 2022 record. With the constant release of new titles and fresh content, it shouldn't be shocking to see Steam hit impressive user highs. As of December of last year, Steam's biggest games included Counter-Strike, Global Offensive, Dota 2, and Lost Ark, according to data provided by Statista.com. Counter-Strike had an average of 618,000 concurrent players. Dota 2 Battle Arena game had approximately 483,000 concurrent players, and Lost Ark, which we played a good amount of last year in this channel, in this community, was at about 235,000 concurrent players at any given time. It's a lot. It's a lot. But yeah, I mean, they should have probably differentiated between exactly what games refers to as, you know, because Psych, you could quite possibly be right. It might not just be referring to full games. It could be referring to in-game content, expansions, but you would hope they weren't just including like small DLC additions. I can see more of them adding in like significant expansion kind of releases and stuff, but who knows? And again, these are not like Steam developed games. These are developers that are releasing games on Steam's platform through Steam, right? Yeah. Yeah, bro. Yeah, dude. All right, guys. Here's the last article I have for the day, man. There was a lot of news today, but it's been a good segment, man. We were gonna have to stall a little bit, anyways, probably for our buddy Pinky to get home from work and get into our gameplay day 2, man, of Divinity: Original Sin, because we're co-oping this game together, and we had a blast yesterday. Like I said, there's some clips in the clips channel of the Discord right now just from yesterday's gameplay. I was just dying laughing all day yesterday, and even making the highlights last night. I was sitting here at my PC laughing even more, man, making the highlights. So you should check them out. They're pretty good stuff. But we'll be back in it after this article. If anybody has anything to add, let me know, man, and we'll address it. Anything that maybe might be pertinent to the video gaming industry that I haven't hit on that you might be aware of, let me know and we'll discuss before we move on to the gaming content for today, okay? Epic Games CEO Tim Sweeney says Steamworks API has created a real problem for the industry. After the launch of Epic Games Store's self-publishing tools last week, that's what I was just talking about, right? Epic Games CEO Tim Sweeney has claimed that Valve's Steamworks API and its lack of cross-store functionality has created a real problem for the industry, accusing Valve of abusing its market power to encourage developers to ship games that are broken on other PC video game stores. On March 9th, the Epic Games Store finally debuted self-publishing functionality for the Steam rival store, allowing independent developers and publishers to bring their games to the store independently. Epic also reiterated its requirement for all games published on the store to support cross-store cross-play on PC. That's what it was. So, to be very specific, it was cross-store cross-play on PC, which Valve notably does not ask of games that are published on Steam, right? In an interview, Epic Games CEO Tim Sweeney called out Valve not only for this policy, but also for the fact that its free multiplayer Steamworks API does not function with any other PC game store. Sweeney suggested that this is anti-competitive behavior on Valve's part. Interesting. Valve have a classic lock-in strategy where they build these services that only work with Steam. They use the fact they have the majority market share in order to encourage everybody to ship games that have a broken experience in other stores. And we were bitten by this early on with a number of multiplayer games coming to the Epic Games Store. Steamworks didn't work on our stores, so they had either a reduced set of multiplayer features or none, or they were just limited to a much smaller audience back in the launch days of the Epic Games Store. So you had a lot of multiplayer games that really felt like they were broken. And remember, Call of Duty went through a debacle launching on the Windows Store a while back in which you could only matchmake with other Windows Store players, and that is not how PC should work. Agreed. In other words, Epic's free game program will continue throughout 2023, and 505 Games' star-studded crime boss Rock A City launches on PC on March 28th exclusively on the store. I can't remember what the difference between like the royalties that publishers are getting off of Epic, but it is a much better split for developers that are publishing on Epic right now than it is on Steam too. So they're trying to lure in people for Epic. Last thing, right? You got 2 days left to get Call of Sea on Epic Games storefront for free before Warhammer 40K Gladius Relics of War will be free for the following week, which would be March 16th through March 23rd. Okay. So get your free games, man. We talk about it all the time. Price, monetization. It's a huge obstacle for people getting into gaming nowadays. And even if you are not right now a PC gamer, you can access their website through any kind of browser, mobile device, whatever. It takes just a few minutes to create an account, which is free. And then they give away free games all the time. I have over 200 games in my account right now, and only less than a handful of them I actually paid for. And there are notable games that they give away too. So who knows? At some point in the future, even if you're not a PC gamer, you might become a PC gamer. And at that point, you'll have an entire library of games to choose from to dive into and start playing that were free to you. All they cost you is a couple of minutes of time to dive in there and grab every single week, you know. So take advantage of this opportunity. Grab free content. There's so much, as far as the monetization in the gaming industry and the obstacles it presents people nowadays and being able to dive into games quite often. Take advantage of the free content where you can get it, you know. My advice anyways. Take it or leave it, man. That's what I got, guys. That's the jam, dude. Them's the breaks. That's video gaming news for March 14th. You guys rock, man. Thank you very much for being here, being a part of it. Yesterday was like bleak. There was like not a whole lot of news yesterday. And then today we were just like pounded with news articles. So it happens like that sometimes, which is fine. It's good news, man. I love staying current on the industry, and I love having you guys being engaged with it as well. So I appreciate it very much. To everybody that was here for today's news segment, you rock. Appreciate it. And everybody that's part of this community on the constant and helping create such an amazing space for all of us to hang out and enjoy video games. Thank you very much. We're going to move on to Divinity Day 2 with our buddy Manema Speaky. If anybody's checking out this video gaming news segment, or potentially any other content on VODs on the YouTube channel, or highlights on the Twitch channel or anything, and you're enjoying it, try to come hang out with us. We go live at 6 o'clock a.m. every single day. Start off all of our streams with video gaming news before we dive into whatever gaming content we have planned for the rest of the day. Other than that, stay healthy, stay safe, be kind, and we will catch everybody tomorrow for our next edition of Video Gaming News, which will be March 15th. Cool.